Heyo.
Heyo.
Hi.
Fuck.
Movies.
Fuck movies. Yes.
Fuck 'em.
Movie.
I don't think that's the name of the what are we doing? Oh, podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the first ever anti-movie podcast.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
movies. Movies are stupid.
Featuring the voices that you know and love, like the man to my left, Reese Anweiler.
That's me.
He's a local film buff and Barbie lover. And then to my right, he's too old to be cool, but
That's for sure.
the right age to receive a gift of a forever chair.
Forever chair. It's nice to find that as a tattoo artist to find your forever chair.
Yeah.
It's a special feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet so.
I mean, I hope it's a forever
It's a
chair.
special time.
It's a pretty complex
mean-
electric motor raising and lowering, so I might have to make certain parts might not be forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. More maintenance. There's always going to be a bigger boat, though.
I don't know, man. This thing's pretty
I was just
fucking
checking
nice.
it out. It seems pretty nice. I can't wait. I
But
get
like
tattooed
at
next
some
week.
point, right? They've got to be like where it can hold them upside down.
The only thing I can do beyond this chair is spend $20,000 on an actual surgeon's table.
Yeah.
So
I guess it just
I'm
depends.
probably not ever going to
Depends on where your priorities, you know.
Yeah.
I can
in
tell
the
you, dude, those
future. Win the
medical prices
lottery.
are way
Kids,
inflated.
fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those medical prices are way inflated. I work for
Oh,
a
yeah,
medical
they are.
device
Yeah, they
company,
are.
and we make screws that we sell for like thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
and they cost like 45 cents to make. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
it's a bizarre,
Very
industry.
fucking
But
stupid.
You didn't hear that, and I didn't mention that. Anyway, I am I'm the guy that always gets announced last. I'm Dustin Holler. We're just gonna get right into what you guys have been watching.
You
Yeah.
want to take the lead, Reese?
sure.
All right.
Well, to start things off, I went to a brand new in theaters movie last week, right after recording. Not right after, the next day after recording, and saw Abigail, the new vampire comedy slasher movie.
Oh, it's a comedy.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, a comedy in the same way where like Scream is a comedy, you know.
Okay.
But not that meta though. Well, a little meta.
Jesus Christ! Is it just Scream?
it's you know, well, it's Scream and how Scream has influenced, you know, about 60% of modern horror movies, you know, where they either have to completely take themselves 100% serious, or they have to comment how everything that's happening is a trope, or you know, this happens in all the movies, you know, like.
Yeah, let's point out the thing that
There-
usually happens is about to
Does,
happen.
do that many do that? Because I've only ever seen Scream do that.
The bad ones do,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that was really
Like
that was
Scream.
that was like the early 2000s. I think that was the go-to thing for horror movies. of,
No,
like,
yeah,
not taking it
right
seriously.
around its success. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The whiplash
People
effect
like
of
the
like, oh, we have to
Yes.
do this thing now.
But no, I thought this one was really fun.
Ken industry.
Nothing revolutionary, but some really fun performances. Some obviously, like always, very underused premises and settings. What's the actor's name? There's one actor. Is it Dan Stevens? Do you know that actor?
I don't know that name. It doesn't sound.
It's
like
a very
real
generic
for an
name, but
actor.
you would
Yeah.
recognize him because this
Yeah.
guy's been in like 100 things. Dan Stevens.
Man,
Oh,
does he always have that
vaguely.
mustache?
Pretty
No.
damn iconic
The
mustache.
Guest? Have you? I feel like you would have seen The Guest.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty solid
Yeah,
movie.
I don't know that I know this guy.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
no, the Guest. That's actually one I forgot.
I've probably seen a Dan
completely about.
Stevens
That's
movie.
actually
Just
a pretty good
statistically
movie, yeah.
speaking, it's probably.
Yeah. I mean, like
I probably
the
have,
other
but
most
he
recent
is not
thing
recognizable.
he
to
was
me.
in was the new King Kong Godzilla movie, and you didn't watch that. So
I
like,
did not know.
Yeah,
But he's
yeah.
been in a lot of stuff lately, and he's a good like kind of comedic, interesting actor. I don't know. I liked him a lot, but again,
He should
underused.
change his name if he wants.
It
to.
is a
If
super
he,
generic.
if he really
name.
just like wants to get there. Like,
Dan Stevens,
you got to do what it takes.
even Daniel Stevens.
Yeah, honestly, that you go from Dan to Daniel, all of a sudden it's way back. Actually, the
Yeah.
Stevens is. A
I
problem.
think
he's got the two first
The
names.
Guest,
you know?
I think, is worth
Yeah.
a rewatch. I remember watching that and actually being
Yeah.
pretty pleased with that movie.
Mhm.
Like, I want to check that one out.
And largely because of his performance, like he's
yeah.
a pretty decent
Yeah,
actor.
oh yeah, for sure.
So you know, if you want a fun horror movie, go see Abigail. But it's nothing amazing. But the next day, because John had talked about it, I did finally just by chance have the free time to
This
watch
is on my watch list too.
Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, super fun, man.
Yeah, it's
Super
just a
fun.
blast. It's a really
Okay.
fun movie. It's
love
not
the-
again, it's not perfect by any means, and like
No.
you can see the budget in it
Yeah,
in a kind of charming way.
No, I do think so. It's a very charming way, and that's kind of the bit. I mean, this set is a fucking 80s or 70s talk show.
Yeah, mid to late 70s.
Yeah, mid to late 70s talk show set is the setting of it anyway. So
Mhm.
like that comes through super well.
Yeah.
I love the setup of that movie where like this tiny little documentary about the main character basically in the first 20 minutes to set it up, and then it gets you right into just the shit of the movie.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I thought it was super fun.
Yeah. It's another like low budget movie using like kind of found footage in a way
Yeah.
to like complement its super low budget.
So well, it was interesting too because it wasn't like it's not like to say it's found footage doesn't do it justice because like the first 20 minutes are like documentary format.
Yeah, it's more like a mockumentary. than a
Yeah,
found
and then
footage.
you get half of the rest of the movie is a talk show.
Mm.
What you would see filmed in a talk show.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the other half of the other third of the or 2/3 of the movie is camera behind the scenes. So there's only like 1/3 of the movie is kind of found footage.
Yeah.
The rest of it is actually like presented well,
Mhm.
you know. So
It's like re-airing the original broadcast
yeah,
of a live late night show.
yeah,
But yeah, super worthwhile.
yeah. I thought the
Really,
the
the
performance
lead-
of the main character
Oh
was
yeah,
fantastic.
he like
Yeah.
totally sold the movie. I watched. Speaking of time travel movies, one of my weak points. I just always have to watch a time travel movie.
Me too, man. I'm the same.
This
I
one
love time travel movies. Even
was
though they're
really-
always disappointing.
yeah,
Yeah.
almost like
Yeah.
95% of the
Yeah,
time.
no,
at this point.
there's like 3 that are.
yeah. This is a brand new one. Came out like a week or two ago, straight to Hulu, called The Greatest Hits.
Mm.
It's like a romantic comedy, not so much comedy, romantic drama. And this girl who like sustained a head injury in the car crash that killed her boyfriend now has this ability where she can travel back in time while listening to a song to the time where she first heard the song. And so she's like revisiting these very important moments in her and her boyfriend's relationship and seeing if she can like affect the past and save his life and stuff like that. It's exactly like made for me as like a popcorn flick. It's kind of cheesy and romantic, and all of the music is like my vibes. It's like all indie rock and stuff. But
It's
like
called The Greatest Hits.
the greatest hits, yeah, and really like nobody is in it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean just the
But it's
idea of a
good.
romantic
Yeah,
fucking time travel movie, like
Yeah.
wrong pseudo.
in a very clever way. And using any movie that uses music prominently too is pretty enticing to me.
yeah. Oh,
Did
yeah,
you
no,
ever see
that-
The
I'm a
Time
sucker for
Traveler's
that.
Wife?
I saw the movie. I didn't see
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, the show is really good too. I like that concept of from that movie and that show where it's like involuntary.
Yeah,
It's just like almost like a birth defect. He just like
Mhm.
randomly travels
yeah.
through time throughout his entire life, and
That's a fun setup. For
Yeah, no, it is.
It
It's a
is.
very fun setup.
I
Very-
think I tend to prefer like sci-fi time travel over like fantasy time travel, I guess, whatever
Yeah.
you call it. But I do think when you use it properly as like an actual
Mm.
device for the story, I think it's really cool for like
Mm.
fantasy time travel movies. I don't know. Like About Time is another one. What do you call that? Like
yeah.
a rom-com
Yeah.
time travel. But yeah, if you like it, I think I mean I don't know. You seem pretty picky with your music. I don't know if the music will be aggravating. It's not like pop music per se, but it's like indie rock and stuff. There's might even be stuff on it like Roxy music is like a plot point at one point in the movie, so it's not all contemporary stuff either.
No, I'm not that picky when it comes to music for movies.
Yeah.
Actually, like one of the films that I saw that's on my been watching list has a bunch of like really clever like 80s
Right.
80s music that like
Mhm.
just plays really well and like kind of like a just like a fun, whimsical way.
Yeah.
Like fuck, this song is awful, but man, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, like the older I've gotten, and like I'm pretty okay with the use of a lot of like what I would not listen to from 80s.
Yes, exactly.
And different things. It just like the shit is so appropriate
Sometimes
in moments.
Sometimes
you
it
know,
just
and
makes a
hits.
scene funnier if you have like some like classic 80s tune that just that really fits the moment.
Dude,
Just
and,
like,
and
shit.
even like not just a comedy, but just in general, like some of that stuff just has a home in things of that culture. Like,
I think the Guardians movies.
Yeah,
like,
one of my favorite
very
animated
good
movies
there.
ever is the fucking Transformers movie from 1986.
Oh yeah.
And like the opening song is like, I would never fucking listen to that, but god damn it, it hits hard in that movie. It's just like, fuck yeah, you have the power. You know, like let's go.
You got the touch.
Yeah, dude. It just works.
But yeah, I like the greatest hits. It's on Hulu. Recommend it.
Right on.
I watched the documentary series that was going around about Nickelodeon called Quiet on Set. The dark side of kids TV.
Yeah, which you could probably have assumed.
Yeah, it was okay. It is kind of weird for me watching stuff like that where they're talking about this creepy stuff that they put on the they somehow got away with doing on the shows and stuff.
Right.
And then they show the clips over and over again. It's like, you guys are talking about these because it's kids, right?
Yeah.
Doing stuff that by today's standards at least looks very sexual or innuendo, but it's all stuff that was on these kids' TV shows back in the day.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but then you show them, and it's like, how are you different from the original show?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it was interesting, and yeah, not necessarily any surprises. Like, surprise, we really just let people touch anyone they wanted to. You know, not very long ago, about 4 years ago, you could just kind of touch whoever you wanted and get away with it as a man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's skip that one obviously for now. I watched. I grew up with the Vlog Brothers. John Green and Hank Green. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them at all.
No idea.
John Green is a young adult author, and he's written like some very popular young adult books over the past like 20 years.
Okay.
The Fault in Our Stars is the most popular one, but I've like, because I started watching him and his brother on YouTube, it was like just like vlogs and stuff. I always consumed John Green's books, even though they weren't even like, I was not the target demographic. It's just like, well, I like John Green, I'll check these out. And so like now in like these later years, they keep coming out with movie adaptions of these books, and so I do check them out. And another one that went straight to, or I thought this one was going straight to Hulu, it went straight to Max, was a movie adaptation of his last novel, which is called Turtles All the Way Down. It was fine. It was very.
It's a fucking song title.
Oh, it probably is. It's a popular older phrase.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a song title from Sturgill Simpson.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah, that's a great album. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to recommend it to either of you because it's not at all in your wheelhouse and you won't enjoy it. But you know, for what it was, I enjoyed it.
You could probably recommend it to me. I'd probably
through
watch
and
it.
wondered about it. So
yeah,
I'd probably watch it. I don't think it's anything
interest.
that would be super like abrasive to me in my palate.
No, not like, you know, like cringy or anything.
Right.
But I feel like I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it nearly as much as I did if I hadn't had the relationship with the author.
Yeah,
but there's some fun cameos and stuff to it, and some actually really good song uses.
Okay, right on.
And then I was just getting in a mood for like brand new stuff. That's why I watched like the greatest hits and Turtles All the Way Down. And I was Googling around looking what else came out this weekend. And a documentary is now on Netflix. It was very interesting, called The Contestant.
Yeah.
About a Japanese man in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, who was kind of tricked into doing like a game show where he was stuck in an apartment with like no possessions besides like a stove and a sink and a toilet. And the only items he could have is stuff that he could win through magazine, like mail-in raffles and contests and stuff. So he's like literally stuck in this room, not able to eat anything until like he starts winning like rice and dog foods on these magazines, and he's like naked the entire time. I don't know. That was the only thing I was very confused by. Is like, because he ends up getting stuff. The how he gets out, and this really happened. It's insane. Is he has to win 1 million yen? I think is that the
right
Japanese 1 million yen's worth of things, and so he ends up winning, like golf clubs and a surfboard and toys, but he never gets clothes. I'm like, I feel like a T-shirt. You can't find a contest that's giving away a T-shirt.
That is fucking weird. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but it's
so he's naked throughout the entire movie?
Well, so it's so reminiscent, and they mention it too. It's so reminiscent of Truman Show. Because this show like was huge in Japan, like they live streamed his just like his apartment and whatever. But they have when they would start out, whenever his nudity was on screen, they'd cover it up with a black circle, but they thought that was too boring. So I won't explain the origin because I'm just telling you the entire documentary. But they changed it to an eggplant to cover up his dick, and it's like. But this is before texting and emojis, so they think this literally actually is the origin of using the eggplant emoji to mean dick. But yeah, shit. You feel terrible for this man. And like literally he was, this is like tortured. Like he almost committed suicide a few times. But
how was he tricked though? I gotta watch.
You gotta watch it.
I gotta watch this shit. This is super interesting.
Friday night.
Fucking Japanese people, man.
Yeah.
God damn, I love you guys.
90 minutes in and out.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued enough to watch this.
Super intrigued.
Yeah. And if you think I gave away the whole plot or anything, like no. It gets insane.
It gets way weirder.
Dude, that's a super interesting premise.
Yeah. The contestant. I watched Due Date. Literally nothing to comment on. Robert De Niro and
it's a very mediocre comedy.
Zach Galifianakis. Yeah. It kind of made me like rethink if I actually did enjoy the Joker. Is this director, is he capable of doing something good?
Don't like stay the course, man. The Joker is a good film.
The Walking Phoenix Joker?
Yeah. Todd Phillips.
That's a very solid film.
That's a very solid film.
I know. It's just the association with this. This is the guy who directed all 3 Hangover movies. Todd Phillips.
What?
He directed the Joker.
What?
Yeah.
What?
And he
should not do comedies.
He said
dark comedies.
That doesn't make any sense.
It kind of does. It kind of does because what do all those movies have in common? They're all dark comedies.
Yeah.
Like, really, at the end of the day,
it's this weird comedies. Like modern phenomenon because like the guy who did Vice and The Big Short, that's the guy who directed like Talladega Nights and like a bunch of Will Ferrell movies.
Well, sometimes you just need to get your foot in the door, and you'll do whatever movie it takes to get your foot in the door, and then that leads to you'll just take the next job that you can get, which is probably similar to the first movie you did. I think most people's careers as directors, most people don't get to just do what they want to do right off the bat. You have to earn that right.
I think that's true for any professional artist as a tattooer. That's 100% true for my industry.
Yeah, you have to earn your right to do the shit you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do a bunch of bullshit.
Here's the movies that Todd Phillips has directed. Starting in 2000, he directed Road Trip. Then he directed Old School, Starsky and Hutch, School for Scoundrels, Hangover, Due Date, Hangover Part 2, Hangover Part 3, War Dogs, and then Joker.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, have you seen War Dogs?
I have not seen War Dogs.
So War Dogs, that actually makes sense. To me, War Dogs was probably him getting to do a little bit more of what he wanted to do. Because War Dogs is that. It's like a very serious subject matter, but it definitely has some comedic elements to it as a film.
Yeah.
So that I actually think that tracks. I think that his first film was like a stoner comedy, and then
another stoner comedy, and then another
Hollywood film, and like
hey man, you know what? If so that all right, as long as he follows up the Joker with good shit, it's all okay.
Oh yeah, I mean we'll find out in like 2 months with Joker. Folia do.
I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that thinks that movie is going to be phenomenal. I'm
gonna watch it one way or another.
I do not feel like there's anything that can go wrong with it. I feel like it is I feel like it's going to be brilliant.
I feel like
I'm-
it should be, but like the trailer just didn't
Yeah.
give me that vibe at all.
No,
You know,
the thing that gives me the most hope is that Joaquin is still involved, and I don't know. It's probably undue for literally any actor, but I do kind of feel like I trust Joaquin Phoenix.
I feel like if he didn't think it was good, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I would hope.
for
He's that
sure.
type of guy.
Yeah, no, I do think that he has that amount of like backbone and principle as an actor to be like, nah, fuck.
He learned his lesson from The Village.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
basically
Don't
everything
do that
he's
again.
All right, I'll take what you're selling down there if you still got it.
Yeah, we got. Oh, we do have an extra.
he's just been doing really good shit for like the last 10 years,
I mean,
so I
it's
do kind
Joaquin
of trust him.
fucking Phoenix, man. The guy
Yeah.
is it's Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay, after that, I went and saw in theaters Challengers, the new Zendaya movie.
Oh, I want to see that, man. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, it was just so like enjoyable, just like such an easy watch.
You know what, man? I was thinking something about her that just
She is fantastic.
Man, she is just like so likable and adorable, and like
because she
she's-
plays a bitch sometimes or a shitty
she plays
person.
a bitch or a shitty person.
Like it's
or
hard to really like
or like
a drug addict
like
character.
Euphoria.
You know?
Euphoria. I say she's more of just like a hopeless person.
Yeah,
you know,
and like manipulative and
Yeah.
lying and like
yeah, honestly, that series, the Euphoria series, we talked about it multiple times. It just kind of speaks to me because if I've had a sibling that's an addict, so I relate to her sister. You
Yeah.
know, like. But anyway,
yeah.
we don't need to get on that again. But yeah,
Recommend
I've been
it.
super interested to see that.
Yeah, it's just a great piece of like film. Like
The one
it's so
one thing I was a little unsure about is like the whole like I don't know a lot about it other than like she's kind of like a tennis pro turned tennis coach who has like, and then there's kind of like a love triangle kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that movie's kind of been done a couple times.
They're like really selling the movie on how horny and like sexy it is. I thought it was pretty underwhelming as far as the horniness of it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it is like
I don't see Zendaya is like I'm saying that right? Zendaya. Like I don't like I think she's awesome and adorable, but like in all the shit she's played, I don't really ever see her as a sexual person.
I mean, most of the time she is playing like a teenager, so it's like you know, like
I've
Euphoria.
I've never-
weirdly, she's kind of like a sexless character and the only sexless character on the show.
No, and like she's an attractive girl. I mean,
Yeah.
but like I've never like I just very very anti-sexual like vibes coming from her.
Yeah. All three of the leads are really good, and they're all playing like simultaneously 18 and 31-year-olds, and they all do like really good job. Like, you know, I feel like we're past the point of the times where they, you know, it'd be like this person, like a 40-year-old playing themselves as an 18-year-old
right.
and looks like shit. You
Well,
know, like
Yeah.
she could get away with it. She
Yeah.
is one of those people that definitely
And
she
really,
could
like-
play somebody who's 18 or somebody that's 30 easily.
yeah, and the hair and makeup really like is really well done in this movie.
Okay,
Great job.
I want to see it. I think that getting you know, like I might have one date night. Like I really want to go see it, but Molly really wants to go see the Guy Ritchie film that's out. I think it's about ready to leave. So
Yeah, probably. We might have that information already. It might be gone already.
for more so, I might have to.
Yeah.
I might have to travel.
But Challengers, I also don't think will stick around too long.
Yeah, probably not.
But it is kind of. I looked ahead already. It's kind of a slow week after this week.
Okay, good. So I'll probably stick around for one more week, so I'll get
Yeah.
one more shot at it.
Yeah. I watched I watched Eastern Promises.
Viggo Mortensen. I've seen that movie. It's been a while. I'm due for a rewatch.
Yeah. Viggo Mortensen.
I remember it
Mortensen-
being satisfying. It's like a gangster.
Yeah, like a Russian mob in London. And Vigo is, of course, fantastic. Like, I honestly kind of hate watching like American actors do Russian accents. I think it's almost always like cringy or like
I
can't take it seriously.
Adrian Brody in Ghosted for a Razzie-worthy performance where you see a clearly one of the whitest people on the face of the planet try to do a Russian accent, and it is an abomination.
But Vigo, he does it, and Vigo is like an unsung one of the greats, I think. I was also looking at.
I was about to say that before you did, because I was thinking of Green Book, which I know is not your favorite, but like.
I agree.
Never
He's
would have
good
expected the Boston accent. I never got that from Vigo. You know, if you watch Vigo, you don't think that like, yeah, that dude could play like a Boston guy and get away with it, and like he fucking kills it.
Yeah.
No, he's pretty satisfying in everything I've ever seen him in, for sure. Even things I'm not a huge fan of, I'm still like his performance definitely carries a lot of shit.
It was also kind of weird because I felt like pretty much for the longest time I only knew him as Aragorn from Lord of the Rings and like Hidalgo and nothing else.
Yeah, just before that, the only thing I think I was really like super really known from was the Road, that post-apocalyptic movie based on the book.
Well, yeah, but even that's 2009. That's post Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I love a post-apocalyptic shit like that.
I do too. Yeah, but yeah, Eastern Promises, super good. Well, not super good. I enjoyed it.
It's solid. Yeah.
Very solid.
I remember it being solid. I don't remember it being special, but I remember it being solid.
Yeah, but I don't know if you remember, but tattoos play somewhat like a significant role in the movie with Vigo.
Well, I mean, Russian gangsters, like Russian gang life tattoos play a huge role for sure.
And then the very next day, I watched another Cronenberg movie starring Vigo called Crimes of the Future. This is from 2022, so it's pretty recent. And I fucking loved it. It was awesome. It's got a great cast. Leah Seydoux is in it. Scott Speedman. Kristen Stewart is fantastic. I hope she just works in every David Cronenberg movie for the rest of his career, because she was like she went so good with his style.
Right.
But it's like, I don't even want to talk about it too much because I went into it mostly blind. I thought I'd seen a trailer.
I think that's the best way to go into Cronenberg movies.
Yeah.
Just go in blind.
I actually have one of those when we get to my list.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to say almost nothing about it except watch it, because I was planning for tonight, and this particular thing that I have is like, there's nothing I can say about it that won't just completely spoil it.
Yeah.
Like, other than like, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Finish your list.
But yeah, tattoos also play like a pretty prominent role in this one. Just, I don't know, by coincidence, or if tattoos like mean a lot to Cronenberg or what. But it's also, Vigo plays an artist, so I feel like John, especially, you will very much like the movie. But it's like,
I mean, I'd love to see. The only Cronenberg stuff I've seen is old stuff, so like, I'd love to see.
And this, honestly, because like he did stuff like Eastern Promises and A History of Violence and the Freud movie, A Dangerous Method. Like, I thought he was like done doing sci-fi movies,
right?
Or at least that kind. And then I watched this, and it is like, it goes hand in hand with like Videodrome.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I definitely want to watch that.
I fucking loved it.
And what is it? What is that? Future Crimes?
History of Violence has a very
Crimes of
prominent
the Future.
cunnilingus scene with a lot of people.
Today on the fuck of this movie.
We have to point out all the fucking Reese. It's in the title.
We're running down a list of the best cunnilingus scenes in film.
Well, this would be number one. Let me tell you, History of Violence.
So that's a pretty specific thing, but there's actually a horror Christmas movie that has a very like prominent cunnilingus scene.
You know what, John? It sounds like a throwdown. We're gonna have a throwdown episode with History of Violence and John's
Saltburn.
Saltburn.
Yeah, you remember that? He goes down on the girl, and he gets covered in blood because she's on her period.
Oh yeah. That's I did not find that to be phenomenal.
I thought
that was kind of disgusting,
the new one,
if we're being honest.
Love Lies Bleeding had some very, very sexy lesbian scenes. Kristen Stewart again, so that's a contender for this. Gone Girl had a cunnilingus scene. And number 3.
All right, moving on.
Netflix, a new mini
I'm good at
series.
getting us off track with
Yeah.
these little
Yeah.
quibs here.
What everyone really wants to talk about.
Yeah.
I watched the new mini series on Netflix called Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, I was super
I
curious.
saw
about
that and I thought that title is stupid. I'm not going to
No, the premise is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I watched it because the premise is
Yeah.
pretty. Like, I always like people talking about topics that like no one talks about or
Right.
does art about as very much, and it is about a man who's got a female stalker.
Right.
And it's based on a true story.
Flip the script.
And it's like, yeah, flip the script. How about now?
Sorry, I just had to.
I kind of enjoyed it more just for how like unique and unusual it is. Like for one, just a story that I haven't really seen told before, and also just how it's telling it and the characters and stuff.
It seemed interesting. I mean, I was very curious.
So yeah, I ultimately really liked it.
Okay, cool. I will watch that.
Yeah, it's worth it. And then today I just finished. They remastered and re-released the Beatles documentary "Let It Be" on Disney Plus.
Okay.
So I watched that today.
Nice.
Right on.
And that's it.
All right. Well, we covered one that was on my list, Late Night with the Devil, which I do really recommend people watch. I think it's a really
I wrote
fun,
it down.
great
That's
film.
one that was
Yeah,
on that
Dustin,
one.
you got a full watch list. After
Yeah.
And I
It's
did.
cool.
I actually had one coming into it. John, continue.
Okay. So I'll try to order these in a way that makes sense. I did finally watch. I just went ahead and pulled the trigger and watched the Renfield movie with Nicolas Cage as Dracula, and honestly, it was a lot more entertaining than I expected.
Yeah.
Really,
The lower standards you go into it with, I think. the more fun it is.
It definitely had. It was like way too actiony, you know.
What's the death knell for a movie to
I-
me, man?
I
is
have
the
to-
action content can just drown a movie.
Yeah.
I have to check. I have to It made me want to reread Bram Stoker's Dracula to see if there is any amount of Renfield having any of Dracula's powers, because that's what this whole movie is based on.
Yeah.
And especially the action is Renfield
I
having
don't think
powers
so.
from Dracula because he's a familiar. And like, I think that there might be some amount of that, but not in the sense of like an action movie would require.
Yeah.
Like, so the powers granted to a familiar of Dracula would be like, you can talk to like bats, kind of. Not you have superpowers and kick motherfuckers through doors. You know,
Yeah.
it'd be something a lot more
They
innocuous.
took some liberties
Yeah, yeah.
on an adaptation.
But
I haven't. I'm not like by any means like a Dracula scholar, but I literally always thought it was like Renfield is just delusional. He does not have powers. He just eats the insects to like mimic his master, and
Yeah.
he thinks it's giving.
so
him
that's the thing.
abilities.
I don't remember at all from
Yeah.
the source material, and the book is the greatest source material there is. So
Yeah.
So it made me want to reread it, but regardless, it was fun, and it was fun as like, you know, because the whole bit is Renfield like, oh, I'm going to fucking AA meetings basically because I'm a victim of narcissism, and then as I've had to, I actually know the firsthand experience of that in a very real way. Whereas like before said experience, I wouldn't have taken that as seriously, but until I like lived it.
Yeah.
Like I do actually identify with that, and like so that was kind of fun. And honestly, just like Nicolas Cage as a very
Nicolas
classic
Cage
Dracula
was like that's probably
was
one
super
of
fun.
my favorite performances of his. I
No,
thought he
it was
great in
fun
that.
as shit, dude. That's kind of what I wanted out of it. It was like, all right, I want to see Nicolas Cage play this Dracula,
Yeah.
and he did, and it was exactly what I expected, which was exactly what I wanted, and I was like, yeah, fuck
Yeah.
it. The rest of the movie's whatever. Like that was fun.
That was, I mean, yeah. The main issue I had with it is kind of the biggest issue I have. I feel like with most blockbusters these days is it just didn't feel like it fully committed.
Yeah.
It could have been like so much more fun if it had just like committed
Yeah.
that much more.
Right, and well, they committed to something, and that something was action sequences.
Yeah.
And there could have been a little bit more commitment to other elements of the film. So it definitely had plenty of flaws, but I was very surprised and was genuinely entertained the entire
Yeah,
time I watched
yeah.
it. So
I
mean,
I
it's worth
also
it.
thought what's the guy who becomes the villain kind of
Oh, the fucking young dude.
yeah, John
the-
Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
But I thought he like did not hold up as like a strong villain at all. He was like by no means
And so
intimidating.
the mom was like a pretty classic villain-esque woman with like just the thickest accent ever that can never be undone, and probably her career depends on it not being undone.
Like the scratchiest voice and all.
Yeah. No, all in all though, yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed the whole ska bit. The movie starts off with from his AA meetings going, like, he kills people based on killing the narcissists, or like finding the narcissist to take to Dracula based on the victims of the narcissists in the AA meetings. And like one of them is this girl who's like, her boyfriend's a piece of shit, and like the boyfriend who's apparently a piece of shit. You didn't really get to know, other than he deals some drugs, which, hey, lots of people deal drugs. But he had this obsession with ska, and I appreciated that bit in that early part of the movie. It's just fun.
It was a returning joke.
Yeah.
Ben Schwartz is the actor.
Okay. So the main character, though, one of the other watches that I had this week, in honor of Furiosa coming out, was I rewatched Mad Max with the family, because somehow my family had never seen any Mad Max movies, and Alicia was completely unfamiliar with Mad Max at all, which fucked me up, because like, how could you be unfamiliar with Mad Max? That's fucking crazy. And I want to say, the criticisms I had of the movie when we watched it for the podcast on this rewatch were just like gone.
Yeah,
like,
I don't even remember what you.
The movie's fucking perfect.
Yeah,
the movie's fucking perfect. But the War Boy is Renfield.
Yes,
which I thought was interesting.
Oh, you rewatched the
Fury Road.
You rewatched Fury Road.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I rewatched Fury Road because
which was only your second time, right? Because when we watched, it was your first time.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. But yeah, all the any criticism I had in the movie just fucking gone. Movie's goddamn phenomenal. There's nothing. Can't say anything bad about it.
Just talking about that movie with my mom, asking her if she was excited for the new movie Furiosa,
right?
And she said that apparently she thought Fury Road was extremely boring.
Really?
She just said it. She said it was like there and back again. I didn't care. It's like, okay,
all right. Well, hey, I mean, everybody's got their palate for art.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that was funny when we did watch, because we watched, I think, Mad Max first, and then we watched Renfield, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah. You really don't.
Oh, it's him.
Yeah. Recognize him unless it's like side by side with something else.
He's very pasty.
Yeah.
He is. So he actually didn't wear any makeup in Mad Max.
That shit was fantastic. One of the next movies one movie that's not really notable that I watched, but the cast makes it notable, and the cast being notable, and the movie, just the cast finding their way into this movie, I'm just really confused what the fuck these guys are doing. But The Great Wall.
Oh, I actually started watching that.
I have not seen it.
It's not the worst, but it's just I
think the thing that makes me not want to watch it is it's The Great Wall, but like when you're like flipping through the streaming service and they have like the photo, like the poster photo, it's just like a slightly more swollen than usual Matt Damon, and some like old like Chinese chainmail garb, shit.
So
and it's just like. What? Like this? It just gave me like Last Samurai, where it's like Last Samurai, and then there's Tom Cruise.
But it's like a fantasy movie. In fact, it has some elements of Starship Troopers.
Yeah. No, it does. It's really not bad.
No,
but it's
I
not
think so.
Good. But it's weird that it's fucking Matt Damon, Pedro Pascal, and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did all these three guys wind up in an action sci-fi fantasy movie out of nowhere? Like, what?
So like. This movie, I think, is really interesting to me, and it did get a lot of flack when it came out because of these reasons, and it did like basically bomb at the box office because of these reasons.
Right.
But like, really, the most interesting thing to me is that like, it's a Chinese-made movie.
It's a Chinese-made movie.
Yeah. The director.
That makes it way more interesting.
Yes. So like, it's not like Hollywood going like, you know what, we can't put Ching Chong in this movie. We'll put Matt. No, like a Chinese studio said, you know who's big in China? Matt Damon.
So the interesting thing about this movie too is that it leads with like there's all kinds of like, here's a history of the Great Wall, but then there's a bunch of legends about the Great Wall, and this is one of these legends.
Yeah.
And like thinking of that from an American perspective, this being an American movie, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Quit.
Yeah.
It. But like, if it's a Chinese-made film, that's like, oh, this is okay. Well, this. All right, now there's credence to that.
Yeah, that's
there
why
is a legend about this. I trust it now because if you guys made it. You would know.
That's why I gave it the time. Also, I mean, the fact that I was trying to watch like as much Willem Dafoe movies as I can.
No,
so
and that's the thing.
One.
It's not bad.
No,
it's very much just
and it's like a fun, like a sci-fi set or a fantasy setting. You don't get to see very often.
No, it is. I actually like your comparison to Starship Troopers. It is very much just like.
Yeah,
fucking. It's a good old fashioned action sci-fi.
And they are fighting a swarm.
Fucking shit up.
I never would have thought. I didn't get action sci-fi.
No, it's very much that. It's really not bad.
But it's not good. But it's not
no,
bad.
And then, I don't know if it's good. I didn't actually get to the end.
Okay. So
we had other things.
The jury's still out.
The other reason I gave the movie a chance, and again, I also have not finished it.
This is. I'm just gonna step in here and say it's very telling that both of you start it. But neither.
Well, some other things happened in the whole scenario.
Life happened.
It is like a 2-hour, 20-minute movie, I think, and it's. Not, I didn't go into it expecting it to be good. I just expected it to not be terrible.
No, and it's. I think it does track it. It is not terrible. I think it's. I will finish it. I'm actually fucking curious.
Yeah.
So there's not a thing that I'm like not gonna finish. So.
But the other interesting thing is this is from the director of Raise the Red Lantern.
Really?
Yes.
That's fuck. What is going on tonight, man? Like,
this is
what
the guy.
Are any of these people doing?
This is Zhang Yimou. He directed House of the Flying Daggers, Hero, and Raise the Red Lantern.
Just Raise the Red Lantern next to those other two movies is just as fucking wacky and mind blowing to me because those are both just like.
And then then he directed this random 2016 action movie with Matt
Well, the
Damon.
one that doesn't fit, the one that's not like the others, is Raise. That doesn't make any sense. All right, it's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I think it's worth watching. It's fun enough. I will get back to it. All right, so then the next thing I want to talk about is a horror movie that is called The House of the Devil, directed by Ty West. It just got put on Shudder not that long ago. I've seen it before. We watched it again. In watching it, I realized we had watched it before. Pretty classic, like satanic setup. Looking for a babysitter. Guy like lures a chicken to as a babysitter, but turns out he murdered the whole family, and it's actually a satanic ritual, and yada yada yada. I dig it though in that it's true. It's set in the 80s, and it stays very true to that vibe and feel for one of these movies. It's kind of slow going. It's a very slow burn movie. There's not really a lot going on. But the thing I'll say for that is that, like, once it got into some shit, I ended up checking the time, and it's like 20 minutes left to the movie. But I was like, where did that time go? Like, so while it is a bit of a slow burn and there's not a whole lot going on, it is, in its own way, super engaging. And when shit does start happening, the thing I really like about this movie, and what I hate about all horror movies, the character actually defends herself. Like, no fucking around, defends herself. She gets knocked out and wakes up, and it's a satanic ritual with these characters who she thought they were this person, but now they're this person, yada yada yada. She breaks free. It's not I'm gonna run downstairs and blah blah blah. Right away, gouges the motherfucker's eye out. I'm like, yes, thank you. You know, like, every point from the shit going on, she's actually, like, not being a bitch about it. And at the very end of the movie, when it's like, oh, you're pregnant with Satan's child and this ritual is about to finish, and she's ended up getting a gun from somebody. Again, dumb broads in every other horror movie wouldn't fucking do that. They just run, like, look at it and run past it, like, nope. It's like, all right, this is gonna happen, and she's like, nah, motherfucker, blah, shoot myself in the head. And I'm just like, yes.
All right.
Spoilers.
You just did the whole movie.
No, there's something else after that.
Okay.
There's something else. It's the
Check it out.
experience of the film.
There's something after.
No,
all
it's
the
it's
stuff.
a really cool film. It's what else did this dude direct?
Oh,
He
it's
directed-
been on my radar because this is the guy who did X and Pearl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Maxine, which is coming out
Yeah.
this year.
No, it's
What was the title of this
The
film?
House
again?
of the Devil.
House of the Devil.
I think it is very, very solid.
Have
for
you
one of these
seen
movies.
Innkeepers? That's another movie he directed.
No, it's on Shudder right now. I was actually thinking about watching it.
I really like that one.
Okay,
Apparently,
I will check
Yeah,
that out.
And you should. I haven't seen Pearl yet. It's
Oh,
also
you
on
know,
my list,
I
but
almost
X-
forgot
X
too.
is good.
I feel like I didn't even think about this one. I actually watched a lot of shit in the last couple of weeks. Infested, the French spider movie, was very good. Very good creature feature. I really enjoyed it. They did a great job.
I was looking for Invested, but I think that's a different movie.
Yeah,
Infested.
Infested. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Kid.
I don't know if I want to see. It's like I don't know if I want to see like a well done spider horror
Oh,
movie.
dude, it's very well done too. I think it's very well done. It's this kid ends up getting who's like the main character is a kid that recently lost his mom, lives in his apartment with his sister. She's trying to move on, sell the apartment. He's still stuck on like a childhood dream of like wanting to open a like reptile sanctuary with one of his best friends who you see in the movie, and it goes through a bunch of like drama with the two of them because they like kind of just there's a lot of character in this movie and the characters involved, and
Yeah.
like so there is a spider feature happening, but there's also a really like decent drama with these characters involved in the spider feature. But he gets the spider from some dude that deals in illegal shit. It gets out. He understands it's poisonous, but doesn't really know exactly what it is because he buys it from a guy like a gas station, in the back room of a gas station. But it gets out, ends up biting a dude. Police come after the guy dies and quarantine everyone in this building. And then they just have to deal with being quarantined in this building while it's being infested with fucking Iraqi spiders that like fucking populate at a
Instantly.
crazy rate and also grow in size as a response to predators. So like they kill shit and then get bigger as they kill shit. And so by the end of the movie there are some like baseball sized spiders, even maybe a dog sized spider.
Jesus.
But no, it was actually really fucking cool. All right.
Oddly, it looks like the original French title is Vermins.
Yeah.
Varmints.
So that's really cool. Definitely watch that. All right. I didn't think I had as much as I did. Trying to go pretty
That's
quick.
all right,
All right. Last two things
Took
I want
like
to talk
40
about
minutes.
is I did watch an old 60s thriller mystery called Blood and Black Lace that was put on Shudder. Very solid. Really liked it. The only thing that put me off about it is the old 60s audio thing where it's in English and everything tracks but doesn't quite track, and it feels like they re-recorded the audio and then laid it over the video
Yeah.
in some situations. Like the only off-putting thing about the movie, otherwise wonderful cinematography, the lighting is just like super fantastic. Just a great mystery story. It's about a model at a show house being murdered, and then everyone trying to figure out who did the murder, and like then more people being murdered. It's classic murder mystery, basically.
Blood and Black Lace?
Blood and Black Lace.
Huh,
But really, really solid film though. Like again, the lighting and stuff, like just the technical works in the movie, really cool.
Looks
And
like it
then-
was directed by an Italian guy.
Yeah,
So that's probably
yeah.
why it's all
Yeah.
dubbed.
No, and I want to find like motherfucker, like show me. Because there wasn't an option on Shudder. Like
Yeah.
the only release was this weird pseudo dubbing, and it's like I just want to watch it.
But then you watch it with like a Italian audio, and it's still dubbed.
So
it's
the
so
the
weird.
thing that's fucked up is in this movie, like it feels dubbed, but it's fucking not because
Yeah.
it does
The
line
lips
up.
match, yeah.
The shit lines up, but the sound and performance doesn't line up. Fucking
yeah.
weirds me out every time, dude. It's so distracting.
I
But-
think there was a time, or maybe even just a a group of directors, because I feel like it was mostly like an Italian thing, where they, instead of having like the mic in the room,
Yeah.
and trying to get good audio, they just dubbed it all later.
Yeah, did it after?
Like it
Yeah.
looks terrible, or it sounds terrible.
It's so fucking frustrating. It's so frustrating. But it's a really good movie otherwise. I do recommend checking it out. I found some old Italian stuff that I really liked, some old Italian stuff that I've really not liked. This is definitely one. And the intro scene, actually, is one of the coolest fucking credit scenes I've seen in an older flick like this. It's really cool.
This is on Shudder.
Yeah, they go through
I might have to watch this.
each character. Like each character in the murder mystery is showcased like with their actor credit in the title sequence, with them being present as like modeling with really cool dynamic lighting. Really cool thing. So good movie there. Last thing I want to mention. I talked to you guys a little bit about it. Dead Alive. Directed by Peter Jackson, partially written by Peter Jackson too. Man, one of the coolest fucking zombie movies I have ever seen. It is ridiculous. It's one of the most over-the-top fucking things I've ever witnessed. Yeah. It just... goddamn.
I noted it when you sent the message out, because I have not seen it. It was on disc to digital, so I do have a copy of it now.
Nice.
Hippity hoppity, I have a copy.
Hippity copy. I have a kippity copy of that now, and so I will be able to watch it in the coming days.
Yeah.
So it's a blast. It's really fun.
Dude, it's so wonderful. It's so fucking fun. There's so many like it's so hard to even describe, man. It's like the premise is basically this dude this mousy guy that lives with his overbearing rich mom ends up coming across this Spanish chick who has just been told by, I don't know, her grandmother who reads tarot that she's going to fall in love with somebody, surrounded by evil, and to look for this sign. And the Hispanic family runs this little grocery store that they shop from, and they meet. And then they go on a zoo trip. And while at the zoo trip, his mom happens to be there and gets bitten by a rat monkey. Which a character in the movie is like, you know how that happened, right? All the rats off a ship raped all the monkeys. But mom gets bit by the rat monkey, and then which is like stop motion animation, and it's fucking glorious. Yeah. And then she just stomps the fuck out of its head and just murderizes it, and then quickly turns zombified. Yeah. And then the dude like tries so hard to keep the zombie infestation like under wraps. Yeah. Like.
It's got a bit of like a Weekend at Bernie's type of stuff.
Yeah,
but like the mom will be like vomiting blood or something, and people are having dinner with her and like, oh no, are you okay?
No, dude, that scene. So like when she's really turning, she's supposed to have this like dinner or like lunch brunchin' with like, I don't know, like a homeowners association essentially. And like these people come in and she's like turning zombie, so her intelligence is just like fucking steep decline. She's kind of with it at the beginning, but at the end she's just not there anymore. But the son comes out.
What was this film called again?
Dead Alive.
The son. We're talking about Dead Alive. So.
Yeah,
but it's got two different titles.
Brain Dead.
Brain Dead, I think, was the original title.
Well, Brain Dead, in New Zealand it's Brain Dead.
Yeah, and then America was Dead Alive. Which is
the son brings out these custards for luncheon, and mom's pretty much completely gone, and the wound that she has from the monkey is fantastic because it's like fucking pulsating, like moving around and shit, and like she squirts some fucking goo out of her wound into one of the custard bowls, and this dude is just like unaware and just like scoops a big fucking bite of it up and mows it down. He's like, this custard's fucking fantastic. And then her ear falls off into her custard bowl. And then she just bites that shit up and starts chewing on her own ear.
There's some disgusting stuff.
The ridiculousness. Like, it's just it's the best kind of gross 80s practical effects. Like, the blood later is like, it's not just blood, it's like thick and chunky and like kind of pink and like, oh, dude, it's so good. So good. So. Yeah.
That's your list?
That's my list.
All right. I'm going to start my list off with one that bridges something that you both talked about. And one is John talking about a classic zombie movie with all the practical effects and the gore and all of its glory and that kind of perfection. And also Reese talking about a movie where somebody is naked throughout the entire film. And you put those together, and I found out this week that my wife had never seen Return of the Living Dead. I was very much in need of a rewatch. I had not seen it since I was a child, and I mean like I'm talking like prepubescent child.
Right.
You know, like it'd been a long time since I'd seen this film, and I only remembered kind of bits. But the one thing I did remember was the chick in the graveyard that like ripped her clothes off.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember that she was naked then like throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah, when you see her,
she like dies, like she gets eaten by a zombie, and then she becomes a zombie.
So when she rips her clothes, that graveyard scene when it's setting up, the fucking grungy punk dude. I love that bit because she's like dancing around, tits out, naked, and she goes up to him like, "Hey, baby, shit, get the fuck away from me! You not know that I'm like? Can you not see that I'm like punk vibing right now? You don't get it. You don't get it." I know.
And I love that the guy's got like he's got the mohawk and like the jacket with like the
he's like the quintessential.
But my favorite is like he's got the chain from his ear to his nose, and it's like a fucking log chain.
Yeah. No, dude, that movie it's my.
It's it's funny because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, and as I was watching it, every single scene was familiar. It just all came rushing.
No,
back.
It's just like
it was
the last Dragon.
Yeah, it was a glorious rewatch for me.
Molly
enjoyed the fuck out of it.
One thing I love about that movie is nobody really does anything wrong in that movie either.
No, like, that's true.
They treat everything practically. They try to do the right thing, and just nothing works.
If you've never seen Return of the Living Dead, it's like
I have not.
It is actually kind of. The zombies in this movie are scarier than any zombies ever because, like, they don't really lose speed.
They don't lose anything.
They don't really lose anything other than the fact that they can't be killed at all. And like, if you put a pike through their head, they're still coming at you with a pike in their head.
That's what I love about the setup because, like, the first one they find gets animated out of the cooler because it happens at like a fucking like a medical testing.
It's like a medical warehouse.
Supply. Yeah. Dude, also, how this starts even because the premise is a kid working at this place, and then the guy training the kid is telling him about everything. And the kid's like, "What's the craziest shit you've ever seen?" And the guy's like, "Just so happens. You remember that story about the zombies that happened not that long ago, referencing Night of the Living Dead?"
Yeah, he actually brought up. He actually said it as Night of the Living Dead.
They use Night of the Living Dead as canon lore in this movie.
And they're like, that was actually based off of true events.
Yeah. And he's like, "So we got the canisters down in the basement. You want to check it out?" The kid's like, "Fuck yeah!" So they go down in the basement, and they get up to him. Like, the kid's like, the guy walks up and kind of touches him. The kid's like, "No, don't touch that." The guy's like, "Oh no! This is military grade shit. It's perfectly safe." And he slaps it like an old man. And like as soon as he slaps it, gas just fucking flares out everywhere. And it's like
Yeah, and they talked previously where how like the gas release, like a experimental gas release is what caused reanimation.
Yeah.
And the army had to get involved, and this was like the fallout.
No, the zombies are indestructible and intelligent.
Yeah, but it's funny because the first zombie they capture, they try everything to kill it, and they can't kill it. Like they're like they chop it into pieces, and all the pieces are still moving. And
it's like
so he's like, "Well, I got a friend that owes me a favor," and he's like, he works
crematorium
he's
guy
a crematory guy, and so they go over there. Well, all the gas as they burn it, all the gas goes in the atmosphere, and then
it
just,
rains
infects
on the cemetery
everything
that's
else
next door. No, their process is great because, like, oh no, like in the movies they stick it in the head, so they pin the zombie down and pike it in the head, still moving. Like, oh fuck, what do we do now?
My favorite part of the movie though is that the zombies can actually still talk, and they're all just walking around going brains.
No, dude, the best thing about the movie is not that they can still talk and just like want brains. It's like they are actually fucking intelligent. So like.
Yeah.
They send an ambulance there, and then like the guys working the ambulance once they test these guys,
they eat the paramedics, and then like one of the zombies gets on the mic like on the radio, is like, "Send more paramedics."
Yeah. Eventually, they finally, and that's the other thing I like about the movie too.
They did with the police. They're like, "Send more cops."
Yeah. No, eventually, because you're watching it and like, okay, like the paramedics have been sent, the cops are going to be aware, and at a certain point in the movie, like, hey, these paramedics haven't come back. Let's send cops. And like they go, cops die. Zombies like, send more cops. Next time cops come, they come in like 10, 15 cars down the lane. Zombie dressed up as a cop waves them to stop. Cops stop, get out of the cars. Zombies come out of the woods. Like, there's literally nothing you could do about these zombies. Like, once the process starts, everything is fucked.
It's like fast zombies with guns, man.
Dude, it's so good. No, if you've never seen this movie, it's glorious.
It actually is one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
Yeah,
it is.
It really is.
And the thing is, it ages well. It is completely just a very entertaining film.
No, it's solid as fuck.
I don't. Again, I'm rewatching films that I hadn't seen in, like 30 plus years, but I don't know if I've seen the sequels. If I have, I don't know. Everything that I kind of remembered from the franchise I saw in the rewatch.
It's interesting. The second one goes more of a family tinge, and then the third one goes the other way again.
Okay.
The third one's actually
the second one's the worst one, is what you're saying.
Kind of, but it's still good.
Okay.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. The third one is, I would rank them the first, third, and then second. Okay. But I think they're all solid. It does the second one plays more to a family thing, because it's like kids in the main focus as the main characters. And the second is, main character is a dude and his girlfriend who he gets killed in like a motorcycle wreck, and then like has witnessed the military doing experiments with this shit, and then animates his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend like basically uses pain to try to like stay human, and that's where you see that like her she cuts the fuck out of herself and puts a bunch of barbed wire, crazy shit through her body, so she's a zombie, but still like defending her boyfriend against the other zombies because she's maintaining her humanity through pain.
Yeah,
it's actually really fucking cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, no, that trilogy is goddamn. It's top notch zombie shit. It's some of the best zombie shit.
We will continue down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Another movie. I think that Reese brought this up at one point. Self-Reliance.
Yes.
Jake Johnson. From New Girl. Basically, recap. It's a dude that gets approached by somebody. They want him to go on a game show on like the dark web, which is like an ominous thing that only exists in film.
Yeah, it really does.
And
maybe it's
and basically they're like, we want to pay you $1 million if you can survive our hunters for 30 days that are trying to kill you. And he's like, I don't want to do that because like my friends and family could get harmed. And they're like, no, they can't. They aren't allowed to attack you as long like when you're around people.
Yeah. And
he's just like, light bulb goes off. Well, that's a loophole. If I'm just around people every second of every day for 30 days, then I just win $1 million. And so he agrees to it, and then realizes how hard it is to actually be like with somebody every second of every day. It was a fun movie.
Yeah,
kind of a dark comedy, I thought, in a way.
Also, it has something kind of in common with the movie we're going to talk about later, in that it kind of just keeps you guessing the entire movie.
I'm still like, I've actually the last couple days I've been like, do I know exactly what happened at the end of this movie? I don't know that I do.
Because
it's a good one.
With Self-Reliance, like it's his POV the whole movie,
right.
So like you do kind of feel the whole time that he's really in danger.
The thing that makes it like a movie is the fact that his family, he's kind of like the fuck up in the family.
Yeah. Right?
And so he's just like, all you guys got to do is stay with me. Like somebody just has to stay with me every second, every day, and I'm going to win $1 million. And like nobody believes him.
Yeah. Right.
And so like, they're like, whatever, man, just go home. And it's just like, he's like, staying over at his sister's house. She's got to like work late, and he's just like, and like her sister's husband is like, well, I'm gonna go to bed. Here's the remote. He's like, oh no, I gotta go to bed with you. Yeah, we gotta be. He hires I can't be by myself.
He hires a homeless guy to just live with him. 24/7.
Hires a homeless guy to just like shadow him.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a creative endeavor for sure. I saw The Green Knight, which is kind of an acid trip retelling of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, with Dev Patel.
Fucking amazing Dev Patel performance.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It was fucking weird.
It was.
When I say acid trip retelling, like it kind of gets in the weeds a little bit, but overall pretty solid.
Yeah, I put it in like a very similar genre to the other one that just came out a couple years ago, the Northmen.
Yeah.
In that it's not really following modern storytelling rules and stuff. It feels like of a time in the fact that it's telling a story from 500 years ago.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I can see that. I wouldn't have thought of that beforehand, but I could definitely see that. I watched Rashomon,
Ooh.
which is Kira Kurosawa and Toshiro Mifune, who's like supposedly one of the greatest director-actor combos of all time. You probably know them from The Seven Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
This film, so first off, when you first start the film, there's like a little blurb they put on your screen beforehand that talks about how basically how the footage of the film was like damaged and had to be like recovered, and so basically like you're watching something that has been kind of refurbished is basically what they tell you, and it shows.
So it's like basically
kind of rough. Like
the original version of the movie is gone. Like this is what we have.
It's like basically we recovered something that was kind of destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, is what it came down to. But you still get the gist of it, and it's not the fact that they put that on ahead of time definitely helps, because now like when you see the the little inconsistencies and stuff, and you see some issues with the film, you know what you're looking at. But basically, the story of this film is basically it starts off with, it's kind of like there's not actually a courtroom, but it's kind of a trial. And it's 4 people recounting their take on what happened in a rape murder situation. And Toshiro Mifune is the one who most likely did the raping and the murdering. And as animated as he is in The Seven Samurai, he's just as animated here. He's very much it's funny because watching Seven Samurai and watching this movie, and by the way, there are actually a few actors that are in the Seven Samurai that are in this film.
I could imagine that.
Yeah, and he just has so much more energy than everyone else on screen.
Yeah.
It's very easy to see why he is considered the greatest,
It's
Japanese actor of all time.
Kind of like watching what's the guy from Streetcar?
Right.
Oh, Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando.
No,
it's
very
like
much.
we're like,
he is the Japanese
you
Marlon
kind of
Brando. I think I
invented
even said that
acting.
to John.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, Seven Samurai, he is so fucking endearing. He's so it's so sad to watch him die in that film. He you just get stuck on that guy. No, he's fantastic.
He's very much a worse guy in this.
Yeah, for
film,
sure, sure.
I don't know. It was definitely worth a watch. I recommend it. I'm gonna.
It's
one of what I hope is a long line of Akira.
Yeah, I want to watch every one of his films.
I basically just kind of did I went on the Criterion channel. I'm like, I want to watch something Japanese. I'm like, I just went to the Kurosawa collection, just kind of chose one at random.
Yeah.
That's where I ended up. But good stuff. Got a few more things I want to go over. First off, this one's going to take a minute. So we might have brought it up. Guy Ritchie, The Gentleman.
Yeah.
Mm.
We did, I think, talk a
Is
little
the
bit
movie
about
or
it.
the show?
Well, that's why it's going to take a minute. So, my wife had heard good things about the series from some friends, and so she wanted to watch it. I'm like, "Have you seen the movie?" And she's like, "What movie?" I'm like he has a movie by the same name. I imagine it's got to be somewhat based off of that.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, we should watch the movie then before we watch the series." So we did that. We binged it. It was last Sunday. We literally watched the movie and then watched the series. It's only the series is only 6 episodes or something. It's a very short watch.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like a Sunday binge session. First off, The Gentleman by Guy Ritchie might be the best Guy Ritchie movie. I never thought I would see a movie of his better than Snatch. It is definitely in the conversation.
The Gentleman? Really?
The Gentleman is actually really, really, it's a really fucking entertaining film. So the gist of the movie is Matthew McConaughey, in really solid Matthew McConaughey performance, plays a marijuana empire czar.
Right.
Like he has like the biggest,
as he does,
biggest marijuana empire in London because it's Guy Ritchie, so it's in London. And so like in the movie, you kind of find out he's like basically getting towards the end of his career, and he's thinking about like selling his empire to have to deal with everything. And so he's like taking potential buyers through his network and how it works. And basically what it is they have like, they get mostly it's like rich people that own a whole lot of land, and then they put like a underground grow house on the property that's usually underneath like a shed or like a shipping container or something random, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a whole network of these. And so anyway, it's just, so Guy Ritchie is kind of like, he can be hit or miss in the like,
yeah, for sure.
But like, I think that's kind of unfair because I think the problem with Guy Ritchie is he's had some like really terrible films, but when his films are good, they're really entertaining. They might not be like, you know, like the greatest movie of all time, but they are very fun.
I think that's the
for
big,
sure.
Yeah, fun action comedies is what he does. So anyway, strongly recommend it, gentlemen. It's got a very good payoff. Well, so we started watching the series, and I was curious as how this was going to go. So basically, the gentleman is like the top of the kingpin, the top of the mountain.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the story of the series is it's played by Theo James. He basically, his dad is a duke in London who dies, so he inherits the fucking dukedom or whatever. He inherits the family
estate.
The family estate. And so he is the duke making all the decisions, only to find out that their property is one of these like underground weed bunker estates or whatever. Like they get money from this like network to be able to grow underneath their property. And so his whole thing is like, fuck. Well, and then he tries to get out of it, and then like anything you try to get out of it, you end up getting deeper into it.
Yeah, of course.
And so it's that kind of a thing. So it's kind of cool because I thought that the show would probably be like a retelling of the story of the series.
Yeah,
but
like
instead it's kind of a microcosm view of the world that he created in the movie.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and like
I enjoy exploring worlds more.
Yeah, and they're both very, very fun in their own way. So highly recommend to anybody who likes any type of good Guy Ritchie type action comedy stuff. Also, I wanted to say Vinnie Jones, who is the British actor that you probably remember from like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. He's been in a lot of Guy Ritchie movies.
Yeah.
This is my favorite performance of his. And he's not in the movie, in the series. In the series, he is, I would say, one of the stronger supporting characters, but he's very, very good.
Wow. Wait, so is it like season 1 or is it a miniseries?
It's season 1.
Okay.
And the way that it ends, it's definitely open to future seasons.
Huh. Okay.
Strongly recommend. You will have a fucking great time. So 2 more things I want to go over. One is I went to the theater with my wife. We did a date night. We saw The Fall Guy with Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling.
Oh.
Yeah.
This movie is directed by an ex-stuntman who, in this movie, is making a movie. It's like kind of an action romance comedy about a stuntman and a...
Yeah, that's cool. Let's get more stuntman love.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of an industry. They don't get enough credit.
Yeah, so basically...
Honestly.
the movie kind of starts off backwards and shows that like Ryan Gosling is a very successful stunt double for a very successful movie star. He one of the like assistant director of photography is Emily Blunt, who they are clearly like fooling around and flirting like all the time. Like they have like kind of a thing going on set and off, like you kind of see. And then he is in a very serious accident, and like some tough guys do, they just shut down their entire world as recovering. So then this is like 2 years later,
right,
where they're working together again. She is now the director, and he has been assigned to her film by the studio, and so they're kind of forced to work together. But then secretly, he was asked to come work because the guy that he used to be the stunt double for has like disappeared, and so it's kind of like he's supposed to be working like a mystery angle.
Mhm.
It's kind of ridiculous and like unbelievable, but like
Right.
honestly, the fact that it's like a movie about a stunt guy and it's directed by a stunt guy, there's something very charming about this film.
Yeah.
I mean, the
and-
premise sounded charming enough for me to
No,
watch it.
and
You know.
the other thing is Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling are two of the most just like adorably charming people in the world.
Yeah,
Like, to put them
honestly.
together,
Yeah, I
their
mean,
on-screen
yeah.
chemistry is like fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good popcorn flick to go take your wives to see The Fall Guy. Highly recommend.
I'm excited for it.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention, and I kind of brought this up earlier but didn't. There is a series on Apple TV called Sugar. I can
With Colin Farrell.
if you read the like synopsis on Letterboxd or whatever, Letterboxd probably didn't have it. But if you read a synopsis anywhere, it's gonna sound like a movie that's very or like a series that's kind of underwhelming. Like the synopsis sounds like, okay, this has been done a million times before. It's not that at all. And I don't want to say anything else because if I tell you anything, it just ruins it.
I honestly watched I think they put out like 2 different trailers for it, and I watched both, and both times because I really like Colin Farrell. He's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I really do too.
Yeah.
It's,
Honestly.
I just like
I
unfortunately
watched
there's
it.
nothing I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
Other than like we just watched like I don't know because it's still ongoing. They release an episode every week, and we just caught up. And the final episode, we're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like the ending was just like mic drop. Everything you've seen up to this point is completely changed. You know, it's just like fuck, and like you start thinking back to everything you've seen, and like dude, they just blew my mind. They just blew my mind with what it actually was. Some people are probably gonna be pissed.
The trailers just did not like grab me at all. I think I shut the second trailer off. Like, nah, I'm just not gonna watch this.
I think that if the trailer did what it needed to do to grab you, it would ruin the series. Is the problem because like if you read the synopsis, it's like this private investigator is investigating the disappearance of a little girl.
Yeah.
And like if you just knew that, then you know that just sounds like something that's been done a million times. Yeah. But there's way much more going on in this film than that. And
honestly,
and one of the style, aside from the one thing I can't tell you plot points because it'll ruin it. But the one thing I can tell you is Colin Farrell's character is first off, he's like the nicest guy in the world, but like he's very big into film, like almost an encyclopedia knowledge of film, and he brings it up in almost every conversation. It's like, oh, like this in this movie, and like as he's doing like heroic shit throughout, like it'll cut away to scenes from classic movies. And so, like, you're constantly seeing all these, like...
That's really fun.
Yeah, like, things that are going through his mind, you know, like, where he's, like, trying to rescue, like, somebody, like, you know, it's just, like, it cuts to a scene from a classic movie where somebody rescues... And it's, like, you're kind of seeing, like, his mind, what he's thinking. The way they do it is fucking awesome.
That's cool, yeah.
But similar vein as far as, like, you just... Advertising kind of just having to ruin things.
Yeah.
Abigail, I don't know how you would sell the movie without it, but the first 30 minutes of that movie, if you don't know anything about the movie, you can't tell it's like a horror movie. You don't know there's vampires in it for the first 30 minutes.
Right.
And that would be so cool to be able to go into that blind.
Yeah.
But of course, all the trailers are about how it's a vampire movie.
Right.
But then,
but
then if you take that out of the advertising, I don't know if you can make it look interesting to get people to go to it. So
I could tell you something both right now to make you like way more interested in Sugar, but it's something that you wouldn't find out until episode 6, and I would ruin the 5 episodes that preceded it by telling you. So
no, I mean just that mechanic they used in the storytelling of like with that character going back to old film.
Is it a period piece or does it take place like contemporary?
It feels more contemporary, but it's very like non-distinct.
They
like,
just don't define it. Yeah.
It honestly, that's the crazy thing about that is one thing I can tell you is like, they're very much not into letting you know what actually is going on. Like you're trying to follow it the whole time, and like you think you kind of get it, and like, it is. Yeah. They do a very good way of like they don't really. Like Colin Farrell's character, you don't really know what he is. Like other than like he's investigating a thing. Like like somebody calls him a private investigator, but he's also part of this like kind of team or group that is again is not it's not exactly clear. They're definitely
I gotta watch it.
They are keeping pieces from you as you're watching it, and you know that they're keeping pieces from you.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sounds good. I'll check it out.
All right, so that's what we've been watching.
I also finished Fallout. It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Watch it.
It's
Yeah, it is
glorious.
very good.
It's glorious. Yeah, no, so still, the one thing, and I've seen, how the fuck did she survive so long? Like, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that to be spoiled.
Yeah,
to me. Like,
it does feel like it's going to come up later.
because
but I
the
assume
villain, what's her name in the show?
I don't
Mar or something.
I'm terrible with names.
The one that
Yeah.
kidnaps the dad.
Yes.
But like, she's shown in the Gould's original human timeline.
Pre-war. Yeah.
Pre-war timeline. That makes her 200 years old,
Yeah.
and they never address it in the series at all. It's
Yeah.
not even talked about.
Yeah.
It's acknowledged,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
there's just nothing, and it's
Yeah.
like, you motherfuckers. I feel like it's gonna be
Yeah.
like they're setting up an Easter egg for
Yeah.
like 4 seasons from now, when everybody's forgotten to be like, oh,
Yeah. I
there.
assume she was involved in a vault like
right.
what's his name was.
But even still, then when did she
Yeah.
fucking wake up? It's a 200-year time difference.
Yeah.
You know, like
I
that's
mean, she's
that's a big
obviously
thing.
aged, right? She's
Yeah.
not this. So like,
Yeah,
she
she's
could have woken up like
aged.
30 years ago. You know?
She could have went back to sleep.
Yeah.
She could have done a bunch of shit in between.
Because I mean, that's a
We
plot
really
point
don't know.
in Fallout 4. You wake up and your son is getting kidnapped
Right.
in like an adjacent sleeping pod or whatever, but you get put back to sleep and then you wake up again
Right.
and you think that you woke up like minutes
Right.
later, but it turns out you woke up like 40
That's
years
Fallout
later.
4.
That's Fallout 4.
That is a sweet setup for that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn, I gotta play that one.
Fallout 4 is not as in depth as like dialogue and subplots as
Right.
Fallout 3, but it's still a really fun game.
Oh,
They
it doesn't have
also-
as much.
It does not have nearly as much dialogue, but it
I bet they lean more into like multiplayer online shit.
not for that one. They lean more into you can build and
Oh,
grow
the build,
your
the build.
communities.
Yeah, I'd
Which
fucking.
honestly, I fucking love.
I'd
love-
obsess over that. No,
Yeah.
I actually was talking to a friend of mine that I was tattooing on about it, and he told me about the building. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah,
that would ruin
Yeah.
me.
I
Like,
spent
I would
hours-
be, I would like, you'd have to like, where the fuck is John? Like, hey, come out. Like, oh, the door's like, John, are you okay?
I've never played a Fallout game, but I just downloaded one from Molly after we finished the series.
Dude,
Which one did you get?
I don't know. Whatever.
You should-
the
you should-
most- It probably was Fallout 4.
you should play,
honestly.
honestly, for everyone, if you like Fallout, post Fallout 3, you won't do this because it's
Welcome to
inconvenient.
Fuck This Video Game.
And it's a different thing, but you
Fuck this
really
cartridge.
should play the early games too.
Yeah,
You should
assume
really
they
play
have,
the early
like,
games. No one wants to play those games ananymore.
Honestly,
It's a very
yeah.
small
Yeah,
se- se-
that's how I
selection.
would attack it. Like she's like, I just want to play. She's like, I used to play Fallout. I want to play a Fallout game. Like, if it were me, I'd be like looking for the original. Like, I
Yeah.
wanna
See,
start the game.
I
They're
am not.
wonderful, but only you would like it because you play JRPGs and like JRPGs. Okay, if you like a command-oriented game that's not
See-
just button mashing,
Yeah.
you can enjoy those games, and they're fucking wonderful, dude.
The thing is, I don't want to have. I'm ultimately pretty lazy, and I don't
Yeah.
like to have to work for my entertainment. And I feel like those
Well,
older
so
games,
you
where, like you can't just relax and play it. You have to like grind.
it's a different kind of relaxing. You relax in just the slow pace of the game. You relax in the story and the immersive environment. You actually relax.
It's
in
the
it.
frustrating
So,
games where you
here's-
like die over and over and
here's
over again.
here's a fun thing. Well, you just fucking it happens. If it's hard, it's okay. You just
Or
prepare
the
for it.
kind of game where you can literally only beat if you have like
So that's the
strategy
thing
guide
is
next
how
to
you beat that. You save a lot.
Yeah.
In the early Fallout games,
Every
I
time you can save,
saved.
you
It
save.
actually fucked me when I played Fallout 2 this last time because I developed a habit, a tick to save. Like everything I did, I just saved. I was just because it's manual. There was no autosave. I created autosave for myself in that game
Yeah.
because of how often I would die. I would just go to a place, save, do a thing, save, bought some shit, save, like
Yeah.
just all the time. But no, they're fucking wonderful. They're so much fun and a fun story. KO, my older son tried to play Fallout 2. He started the game, and he started a character. I don't know if he picked up preset or if he made a character or whatever. But he was going through it, early part of the game, second town. I helped him get to the second town. And he's like, man, I'm going to fuck with this little kid. And he starts like, because you can do anything in those games too.
Yeah.
They're like mid-90s, but you can still just like murder everyone if you want to.
Yeah.
There's no, like, you do whatever you want. It is a open world
world.
RPG. Like,
Yeah.
it's exactly like San Andreas. You do whatever you want. But he's like, low-level character picking with this fucking random homeless kid in this town because there's just homeless, vagrant children in every town you go to in that game. They just run around. And he starts, like, punching it in the face or something. Or attack. He, like, tries to shoot it. And he dies to a fucking grenade. I have played that game more times than I can count. And I had no idea there would have been a child at the beginning of the game that has a grenade. Like, that's just for that character that's like, oh, I'm gonna murder this little kid. Because, like, bitch, grenade. Fuck, I guess I gotta start over. Like, that is the coolest design in the game ever. Just put that in there, you know? Like, no, dude, the pop culture references in the early games are hilarious. Like, there's random encounters of Fallout 2 where you're just like a fucking whale. Like, you find a random encounter of a whale that fell out of the sky, and like in the like a Star Trek reference.
Yeah.
You find another random encounter where it's like a Star Trek fucking shuttle that crashed into the fucking wasteland. And there's like red shirts everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like just shit like that, dude. No, I think everyone, if you like Fallout, the Fallout TV show, even though they changed elements in the story, they just changed why the bombs fell.
Yeah, and I was never expecting Fallout the show to have the same any kind of continuity.
No, it's a cool exploration of the world.
Yeah,
like it's an arbitrary thing that doesn't like it just makes a different element.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't go to Last of Us thinking like this is a continuation of the Last of Us game. Like no, it's its own version.
No, I mean, even if it's not a continuation, you can have like the base origin the same, but doesn't. Yeah. It's fun that it doesn't even have to be that. Yeah. Because now it's like, okay, well, it was just Resource War before, and so that was the world, but like changing the reason doesn't change the world. It just adds different flavor to elements of the world. Yeah. And places you can go.
And still fits the vibe.
Yeah. The aesthetic is fantastic.
Anti-consumerismness of the Fallout series.
Exactly. Yeah. They just attack corporations with governments are just corporations anyway. Mm-hmm. But one of my favorite things about the show too is I'm pretty sure I saw some like behind the screens green screen footage. They built power armor for the show.
And you can tell with how they move too.
It's good.
Yeah,
they move well enough, like you would expect. Like, how else are you going to move? Like, you're not going to be a fucking ninja and something like that, you know. So yeah, the show's great. Everyone should play all the games. It's inconvenient to play the first two Fallout games, but you should. It's a cheap download. It just might glitch a little bit. You might lose your car.
I mean, they're Bethesda games. That's a given.
No, that was Interplay.
Oh, Interplay. That's pre Bethesda.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready for the feature?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
You get me going on Fallout, man. I'll fucking go for days.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yes, the sister show coming of fuck this cartridge.
Honestly, we shouldn't even talk about TV shows. Should I introduce the my pick?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Do it.
2016's The Wailing, directed by Nong Hong Jin. Don't take my word on that pronunciation. It is currently streaming on Netflix, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this is the most spoilable movie we've ever talked about. I think.
Yes.
You can't talk about the first 15 minutes of this movie without spoiling
we used
something.
to be better at this, but I'll just say, if you haven't seen the movie, and the movie this week is The Wailing,
you should
pause this episode, go watch The Wailing, and then come back for this last.
Don't watch a trailer. Don't even read a plot synopsis.
This is like if you've been watching Sugar, the series on Apple TV, assume that like you need to be in the dark as much as you were for that series. Which I don't know if if I'd been familiar or even had seen the trailer, I don't think it would have ruined this movie by any means. But it was fantastic going into it.
What's fun?
Basically blind.
What's fun about it too is that like even having seen it, there's lingering mystery.
Yeah.
At the resolution.
Oh yeah,
of this film.
definitely.
It's like you could draw all kinds of conclusions and think all kinds of things of what this film is about after you watch it. it.
Yeah, my mind definitely got racing after we watched
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah,
It's super interesting. One thing that can be said for this film for sure is that it's beautiful,
gorgeous.
visually beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, wait, before we get into all the specifics, do you want to read the synopsis?
Yeah.
Yes.
The letterbox plot synopsis is: a stranger arrives in a little village, and soon after, a mysterious sickness starts spreading. A policeman is drawn into the incident and is forced to solve the mystery in order to save his daughter. And the tagline is: "Never be tempted."
Never be tempted.
Never be tempted.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's. I mean, I guess.
I don't remember what it was. I should have wrote it down, but like I was I looked something up on Letterboxd the other day, and the tagline was literally the title of the movie. Like that was a new one for me.
Was it that one?
And also
A movie called Never Back Down.
Also, something I wanted to bring up earlier that I missed. The Fall Guy. I saw it at North Point.
Yeah.
And I got to see the trailer for The Fall Guy.
Oh my god.
Before I saw The Fall Guy.
That is
the second
very
time
exciting.
because I also got to see the trailer for Oppenheimer right before I watched Oppenheimer. So
similarly,
they need to get their shit together over
did
there.
you see the trailer for Boy Kills World in front of Fall Guy?
I did not.
No, I saw that.
I've seen that
during
trailer, but I did not
Challenges.
see it.
Yeah,
And-
I saw that trailer at your house.
That movie is already out in theaters. It's not playing in Warsaw, and they're still playing the trailer for it. And it's very annoying.
It is out, but it's not here.
Yeah, it's playing in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, but it just
annoying.
like I don't know. They need to get their shit together because
Yeah.
twice in the last like calendar year that I went to see a movie and like saw the trailer for the movie I was there to see right before they played the
Yeah.
movie. Like that's just lazy.
I think I saw a trailer for Ghostbusters, not at Ghostbusters, but the weekend it was out. Like it was
Yeah.
Friday. I was watching something else and they played a trailer for Ghostbusters. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, I wish they would change up their trailer package because, like, fuck, it gets annoying seeing the same 3 movies for like a month block.
Yeah. Anyway, we got off subject. The Wailing.
The Wailing.
The Wailing.
The tagline, John. In case you happen to be out of the room when I said
Yeah, I got the synopsis partially.
was "Never be tempted," which I think is relevant to the movie, but it is pretty generic.
So I was listening to you read the synopsis. I'm like, that's way too long-winded, but that's like definitely too open and generic.
Yeah. Never be tempted.
Because it's not.
It's not really a temptation.
There's no
thing.
temptation. No. I
It
don't
doesn't make any
remember
sense
any
at all.
temptation.
Did the person that made the synopsis watch
Occupation?
the movie?
There was occupation. There was like manipulation.
Well, I guess because like the little girl initially goes for chocolate or something, doesn't she?
Do we see that?
Okay.
Or
I
no,
remember-
she picked it up from. It's implied that she picked up the sickness from the bow, right?
Yeah, we don't really know.
That's right. Not.
There's no temptation in the movie at all.
I-
So that's
I
just
mean-
a terrible
No,
tagline. That doesn't make
yeah.
any sense.
Yeah,
Temptation doesn't track at all.
but
You're doing a great job of describing what this movie's about.
well, I read the.
So
tag-
I was trying to
read the-
describe first
Yeah,
to
I
entice
know,
people
but
the
okay,
beauty
well,
of
But
the
he usually
film.
likes to say where you can
Yeah, I
watch
know, I
it.
know.
Oh, I said
and then-
Netflix. It's on Netflix,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
we would have watched it, but I went home.
No, there's a lot of mystery in the movie. Like it's really
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot going
I
on.
mean,
Now's the point where you can say that it's beautiful, and it is.
yeah.
Yeah, right from the beginning, like
Yeah.
opening scene.
Not only
is
so it has
gorgeous.
really really beautiful shots, but a beautiful shot is easy. The thing that's harder, in my mind, is a well composed shot, and that's what like Wes Anderson. That's what I love about Wes Anderson is not just like the shot, but like
Yeah.
the specific choices for the elements in.
a shot with
shot.
intent.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of the scenes are just really gorgeous. They're simple things, but just like artistically looking at the elements visually in what
Yeah.
you're seeing, like it's just so well planned and intended, and it's fucking great.
Oh my
man.
god!
Great.
There's one scene where they're driving a car at night and they go into like a tunnel, but the tunnel is like a canopy of trees,
Yeah,
and the headlights of the van like light up the layers of the trees.
Oh, yeah,
as they're going.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking pretty.
no, exactly. Like
But-
wonderful composition.
There's a lot of it's raining for basically the entire movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's several good rain scenes. I know there are two where they're like kind of just sitting on a patio, like waiting out like a storm and like having a conversation, and like just both scenes are kind of identically just beautifully well done.
So my summation of the movie, like, is basically that it's a town that's just caught in the crossfire. You know, like,
yes, it does.
It's a town that's caught in spiritual crossfire.
Yeah, well, it kind of in the end, it just feels like a bunch of demons like having some fun, and like humans, are all just
we're just there, just like fuck,
because they're in the crossfire.
Watching the movie, those are the first things I said. Is like, hey, you motherfuckers just need to leave.
Yeah,
like, this place is bad.
Like
news.
the whole town.
Yes, just
here,
go away.
Here were my notes for the movie. I said this movie has its share of creepy rituals, voodoo, and hoodoo. But I think it ultimately comes down to the question of who is actually in control.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
exactly.
the mystery of the movie.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You have so fun.
You have like these kind of a trio of like like either
Demons,
superstitious or supernatural.
They're basically pretty much demons.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, so one you don't know that
one
is
of them
until the end.
One of them is
specifically
definitely a
is.
demon.
You will find out.
Yeah.
But
The one-
basically,
demon ghost.
The one taking the photos, though, I don't think is like necessarily.
we don't know. That's the thing.
But
Is
yeah,
we don't know.
we really don't know.
So
Yeah.
basically,
Right.
you get this entanglement of a village getting kind of in the middle of a war among gods.
Yeah.
And you don't really know which, like, at times you think some of the, the demons or gods or whatever are like, okay. Sometimes you think they're not. And then like, it's just like, which ones are actually trying to help and which ones are actually just out for
it's
power.
really
Yeah.
really just chaos.
It
You just
feels-
experience
And
chaos.
honestly, I don't know. I don't know who was in control. Like, I
No.
don't know which one was the most powerful.
Actually, you know what? I think that's what I would really like to coin this movie as, is an experience in chaos. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because for a good chunk of like the last half of the movie, I thought like, okay, so the Japanese man who's like, that's the character's name is the Japanese or the Jap.
And he's
I'm not gonna say that one.
And she's like the mystery woman or something
Yeah.
like that.
he's kind of a
So,
ghost
like,
slash zombie.
Yeah.
And she's like pursuing him, trying to do her thing.
so yeah, I thought like he's an evil spirit or a demon or something,
Right.
and she's like a vengeful spirit who
Right.
like wants to kill him but
Right.
can't kill him until his defenses are low.
Right.
And so like while this exorcist is like getting his defenses low,
shaman.
and she can
He's
kill
a-
him.
He's
and,
a traditional shaman.
Which
But
the
then,
shaman,
like,
I think, is a
some
Something.
sort of
fucking.
yeah.
He's something
So-
by the end
I
of the
think
movie.
he's like serving
So
the other
it's
demons.
funny because the shaman throughout just seems like a guy who's kind of knows his shit, but he seems a little overmatched.
Yeah.
But he's trying his best to help these people. But then it's kind of revealed at the end that like he's kind of a thing too.
also
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, exactly.
also has got
He's
some-
not. He's
it's
not
completely
human.
unspecified.
He's not human. He's not a normal human.
No.
He's not who he is.
Like I said earlier, you can't really talk about any of this
Yeah.
movie without spoiling it like immediately. But the last like 30 minutes especially, it felt like twist.
Yeah.
Twist.
So
twist.
one thing
twist.
I'd love to note
They
about
twisted you
this
up for sure.
about this movie is that like repetitive and like long scenes and sequences can just be a lot in film, right?
Yeah.
And like this movie has one of those, or what could be one of those, in this movie when the shaman, like the ritual,
Yeah.
the battling
It's a
ritual.
long
essentially.
sequence.
It's a very long sequence. You end up seeing the Japanese guy and the shaman in ritual battle. Like,
Yeah.
and it cuts to each one in their own ritual, but the way they cut and how often they do
The
so.
shaman versus the mystery woman
Yeah.
was the funniest one because that was unimaginable.
Yeah.
It just,
No.
like,
The-
basically, his insides just started coming out of his
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah,
No, the
that was
shaman-
terrifying. He
Yeah,
just
that
like
was-
vomits
that was
blood because he's
terrifying.
in proximity to this person. Oh my god.
The shaman versus Japanese guy ritual, like it's a long, droning scene, but like it never got tiresome.
Yeah.
It was a scene that you could think would just be tiresome and like you'd want to be over, but like it kept you engaged. for what it was, and that's a pretty rare thing, I think, for those like to actually to pull that scene like that sequence off. I think is pretty rare.
Yeah,
but
I kind of got the vibes that like, so yeah, there's like this major demon in the Japanese man. And then, like, the vengeful demon that wants to kill the Japanese man, but can't until his powers are weakened by the exorcist. But the exorcist needs his use the demon to weaken his prey so he can kill them. And
if the exorcist even comes into close proximity of the mysterious woman, his insides start to come out of his mouth.
Totally screwed.
Yeah, no, that scene was intense. It was really great. They did a good job on that. So, in all of this mystery and murder and spiritual subterfuge is glued together by an incompetent fucking cop.
Oh my
Absolutely.
That just bears witness
Completely
and becomes victim.
It's an entire incompetent police force.
Yeah, it is.
Because like it becomes there. So it reaches a certain point where like there's kind of like a sickness going around, like a virus that is definitely connected to these demons, and his daughter contracts it, and so like he kind of becomes like vengeful. Like cop that's like playing by his own rules, trying to like
do whatever
it's
it
more
takes.
Personal for him than a job, but like the fools, like the oafs following him around, aren't doing anything to make the situation better.
Yeah.
Like so we all like laughed hysterically at the scene where they first confront the Japanese man.
Yeah.
They tear his house apart. They find like super
everything.
Incriminating evidence.
They find a shrine with
like a demonic
photos,
shrine,
Yeah,
and then two different shrines, and one that's just a shrine to all the people that have died.
And it's like this super tense moment, and then there's just like a cut scene, and it's like they're all in a car driving away.
Fuck this.
You don't really know like what happened at a certain point.
And so what's frustrating there too is like, so you get, because you don't yet have confirmation either that he is actually a ghost or demon. So like you're watching the movie and like they literally just like unveil all this evidence and just like, we're out. We're not even
the other
try.
thing is watching it live the first time, I was thinking these guys are really incompetent. Then I was thinking about it. Like this movie had me in thought, man. This really got me. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, there was like so much like supernatural shit going on in this film.
Yeah.
That is unexplained and that we as the viewer are not privy to.
Yeah.
Like,
and it gets
I don't know if they're actually incompetent or maybe there's some supernatural force that is just like, go away, people.
Yeah.
Well, and then they're in the car just like, how did we get here?
Well, I think the thing to think about too is like we're viewing, it from a third party perspective, and like they actually know the culture. So like there's also just that like they witness this shrine and they're like, fuck. We need to leave.
Honestly,
we know this is a ghost. And like they know, they get it.
It's fair to say there's a legality thing with weapons in Korea. So like these policemen have they don't have actual weapons of any kind. So
I just tell
I don't know
people
what
to
an
do
arrest
shit,
would
kind of.
look like. I imagine it's like beating somebody with a billy club until they put cuffs on or something.
I think it's over halfway through the movie until we finally get something that is like undeniably supernatural is going on.
Yeah.
And then the very next scene is the main character is just like it's him and his partner in the bar or something. He's like, does anyone know what's going on? Because like you can tell the character's like, I there's no way to explain that besides some like a supernatural force.
Oh yeah. No, you see, man, yeah. This is a great film. It really is. Like everything delivers.
Yeah.
The performances or everything is. As usual with the South Korean film that I've seen, the performances are so endearing, like regardless of there being like, our languages being completely different and our world being completely different. Like the performances of the character are always just so honest and relatable.
Like the daughter, she's got to be like under 8,
right? You know what?
Like 6 or 7.
She was fantastic.
She was amazing.
In this movie, honestly.
Like to the point of being maybe a little worried for her.
Like child actors are sufferable sometimes, but like like she was like on point, dude. She was for her age. She was really good, and she it gets pretty fucking intense, man.
Yeah.
And her delivery of when she's like been turned and is turning, like good job, kid.
Yeah,
like, fuck,
fantastic. Yeah, I'm just, oh my God, just an absolute roller coaster of a movie.
Yeah.
insane.
I definitely think that this is a movie that like we could talk about all the specifics, but it's a lot of it's just you need to experience.
Yeah.
You know?
So I had started this probably like 2 years ago, and I watched, I think, up until the main character finds the woman hanging from the tree, which is probably about 30 minutes.
Right.
And I stopped it because I was like, I want to wait and watch this with a group because I was just watching it by myself. And when I stopped it, I was like, okay, I get the idea. You're going to try and make you think something supernatural is going on the whole time, but obviously something's not. It's based on a true, like in a real world. And that's like the vibe I went into it this time. Again, thinking like, oh, nothing actually supernatural is going on. It's like a serial killer or something. And then like, not
it's
even
the
like
most supernatural.
10 minutes after I stopped, it's like, oh, no, it's something's definitely supernatural is in the movie.
For sure.
Oh, it was just such a pleasant surprise, honestly. And really delivers on the horror.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. The scenes with I think it's usually the Japanese man, like in like zombie mode, like, and those are some of the most well composed scenes too. Like when he comes over a stone, when he's like when it zeroes in on him, like you see him with a carcass, where the trees are placed in exactly the shot they got, but. Yeah, and that's
keep
really
it like almost like a POV stuff. Like it's you're in that forest. It's fucking creepy.
No, it was good. Very very simple use of like his lighting, like that his eyes, his face being like dirty and dark, but his eyes being
like unnaturally red.
Yeah, like but unnaturally, but still like naturally red, like not like in any like cartoonish way, like super
glowing.
bright, glowing, like they're just fucking red and
Also, I want to say some of the dream sequences are like some of the, anybody who's a fan of The Sopranos knows that the best ever episode of The Sopranos is one that involves some of the most elaborately awesome dream sequences ever.
Yeah.
And this kind of got me a little hinge of that.
And the whole framing of the dream sequences, though, it makes you doubt everything.
Yes.
Then later in the movie, they're like, no, that did happen.
Yeah.
And then you rewatch like the first 15 minutes, you see the whole first murder and everything, and the story of the guy climbing the rock and everything.
Right.
And then it cuts to him like waking up, and you're like, okay, and he's screaming.
Right.
Like it's like, so what part of the first 15 minutes of the movie was a dream?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's really fucking solid.
I haven't seen anything else from this director, but he's got another
Chaser
movie.
is really good. Chaser is really good.
So I actually added basically his entire filmography to my watch list. It looked like some really good stuff in there.
Yeah,
honestly. If you just go off of the synopsis, it looked like he's got some good.
I've been telling people about Chaser for years. It's such an interesting, it's a really interesting dramatic story. It's a very interesting drama. It's just about fucking. Like, the main character is not any kind of a good guy. It's just very human. There's suffering, and it's just very human drama. It's fantastic.
It's not streaming anywhere.
One of a very cool fight scene, too, that's just, like, in a world that's, like, bloated kung fu. Everyone knows kung fu. Everything's, like, hyper-choreographed fight scenes. Like, Chaser has one of the most just honest human fight scenes ever. This is not people that know fucking kung fu, but they were trying to fucking kill each other, and it's awesome. So good.
I will try to find it and watch it. Probably, wait long enough, it shows up somewhere.
I'm pretty sure I probably saw that on Netflix way back in the day.
Version or something. I do want to go into my final thoughts on this film.
Yes.
Because I have something to say about final thoughts. Reese, I think you should be commended here. I actually think that this is like probably the best pick to date. Like you like blind picked a movie that none of us had seen. Yeah. And like I fucking loved it. Like,
none of us seeing it.
I will watch this movie many more times in the future. Like I fucking love this movie. I actually one thing I made a note to I'm sure at the last episode of this year, I'm adding we do the best. I do my list of my take on like what the best picks were. We all kind of discuss what we think are. One thing I'm gonna add is best pick of the year, and you're my early front runner. That was a fucking phenomenal pick, dude.
Yeah.
Like
taking the lead in the first half.
No expectations whatsoever, and it's fucking brilliant. Brilliant movie.
Awesome. Yeah,
I mean, as they are. Fucking the South Korean films we get are
Dude,
just
like they're
God damn.
I'll have to seek out. I bet there's
I'm
some
like on
really
Google.
You're
terrible.
gonna find some bad ones.
I'm gonna find a bad
Yes.
Korean movie.
I'm on Google.
That's what we should do. We
uh,
should make a mission to find
gonna
bad
find
South
the,
Korean films.
Just Google South Korean films that I haven't seen.
See,
That I
the
should.
village, the village of South Korean
Right.
movies.
like South Korean films that you must see, and like if I don't recognize them, I'm adding them to my list.
Yeah.
For sure. No, I would like to be. I don't know. Yeah, because I've never had anything bad to say about
Yeah.
any film.
The Freddy got fingered of Korea.
I've even watched a disaster movie. There was like
I bet they would have some
skyscrapers that fucking
disaster
helicopters
movies.
ran into, and like even that. Like
Yeah.
I
If
walked
they
away
did,
from a
like,
disaster
Rampage-
movie that I was just like,
If they did
that's
Rampage, but
pretty
it was
good.
a South Korean film,
right.
like, I'd watch it.
There'd be so much depth.
Yeah.
And spend so much time with the characters. That's what would happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this movie is worth your time. It is a long one, almost. It's just under 2 hours 40 minutes.
Yeah,
It's not like
it's
the
a grip.
longest.
It's a grip, but it doesn't feel like it. It
No.
does not feel like it. It's a fucking ride.
Oh,
It's-
one more thing I had to add about this is I would not want to be John Brown and have to follow this pick.
You know, I've got a couple ideas.
Alright,
Yeah.
I've actually been. This whole time. I've been like I'm hemming and hawing. I'm looking at picks and comparing picks.
But yeah, I highly recommend get a couple friends together, or a friend, your partner, sit down, watch this in one go, as close as you can to one go, and it's just a fucking awesome roller
Yeah.
coaster.
No, it's a beautiful film.
I don't even know like what to recommend. Like, it has like Exorcist vibes. It has like David Fincher vibes.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what to like. Well, it's kind of like, you know.
yeah, I think the only thing that needs to
Exorcist
be
is probably the best comp that I
Yeah.
can give you, but it's so much different than the Exorcist.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's so much
honestly.
more.
And like the Exorcist is just like, here's the movie, whereas this movie actually gives you the chance to like wonder, you know.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
there's
let
a
your,
lot
like,
of layers.
There's ambiguity to
there-
the
yes,
story.
It's like this movie makes you think.
Yeah.
You have to actually like figure some things out on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my recommendation is just to watch it.
Yeah.
No matter what you think, like your palate is for film, you should watch this and experience it because it's just wonderfully made.
Yeah. A thrilling movie too. It is a scary one. That might be the only holdback if you don't like too scary of movies.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered that, but I think I'm gonna rewatch this with Molly because I think
Yeah.
that she would appreciate it, and I don't think it's like too creepy that it would
No.
Yeah.
trigger her.
Not a lot of like specific nightmare fuel.
No.
Just overall a lot of like anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety. Yeah, man, Asians are good at anxiety.
Wonder what
That is
happened
like
to
their
them.
whole horror is anxiety. The
Yeah.
Ring, they're all crawling out of the fucking screen. Like, it's not like scary. It's just like it's
The Grudge.
uncomfortable. Yeah, it's just uncomfortable.
All right, so just a couple. If you guys have any last comments,
No,
or
no, I
anything,
think
we're
we're
good.
good. Watch the fucking movie.
Couple loose ends to sew up here. Reese, tell everyone what they should go to the theater to watch this.
When does Furiosa come out?
2 weeks from today.
I'm so excited for that.
So, the quick ones we don't need to talk about again or more. Kung Fu Panda 4, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Godzilla X Kong, Civil War, Abigail. Those are all still in theaters. It does look like the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is still in theaters for now. Let's see if it's here next Thursday.
After watching the gentleman stuff, Molly is like
Well, I'm sure it's entertaining,
Going
dude.
hard on Guy Ritchie stuff, and she wants to see.
She's got a hard on for Guy Ritchie.
something. She's
it's-
going hard. Yeah.
It's there till at least Wednesday, so
Okay.
can't guarantee after that. Then, wait a minute. What's leaving? Something's missing.
All right. Well, that
Okay. A few other ones, probably nothing really to talk about, is Unsung Hero, the new Tarot movie, which just looks like really stupid.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother watching a movie
yeah.
about tarot.
Well, like an interesting movie about tarot would be fun.
Yeah, but
this
they
is a
never
movie
are.
where tarot is evil.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, I can imagine exactly.
It's
what
not
that,
the fucking
what-
90s.
Yeah, I can imagine what that is, and I have no interest in.
Challengers, and then so Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace is back in theaters. I don't know if that's like an anniversary thing.
Yeah, I'm good.
No, 25th. Yeah,
I'll pass on that one.
25th anniversary.
I actually saw that in the theater, and
Yeah.
I don't need to do that again.
It would look cool, but it's not like a good movie.
Yeah.
Like it looks cool, and if you want to see some cool looking
Get
shit in
some-
the theater, you can
Ask
go
them
watch.
just to turn the dialogue off and just
Yeah,
watch it with the
exactly.
soundtrack.
Like,
That'd
just
honestly
watch
be
it.
pretty dope.
That would actually probably be okay. Like background noise. Just,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Your lead actor was like a 6-year-old, of course.
Yeah. There was Job.
Are you
there
an
was,
angel?
what the fuck was that goofy character's name?
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. And there was the bug guy that handled the pod racing.
Yeah.
Like there's so much
Watto.
just fucking just goofy comedy there. I'm good, man. I'm good.
And then, so the two main things to see in theaters this week, both of which I'm hoping to see. I'm actually seeing this one tomorrow in IMAX. Is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, we're excited about that.
Very excited.
It's funny. Molly used to talk shit every time she'd see a
I need to
trailer for
watch.
anything Planet of the Apes, and
Yeah.
we went on the binge, and she's like genuinely excited
Yeah.
for Planet of the
Yeah.
Apes.
There's no way
it's,
you could.
It's cool sci-fi.
I've got a
dude,
spare
honestly.
ticket for 7:00 tomorrow. There's no way you can make it, is there?
No, I cannot.
Yeah.
And
it's
then,
cool sci-fi.
Fall Guy, of course.
Yes,
which just
Fall
looks
Guy.
like a fun time.
I think everyone should just go see the Fall Guy this week. I think you should do that. It's
Fall Guy or
it's-
Planet of the Apes, yeah.
It's such a fucking fun film. It's I hate action films more than anything. That's like my least favorite genre.
Yeah.
But they almost have to be action comedies for them to work for me. Otherwise, they're just like mundane and monotonous and just boring.
Yeah.
But, man, this film is far from
Well,
boring. This is a fun ass film.
There are the action movies that I think that might qualify for your description. There are just like the fucking ones that are just like a guy doing action.
Yeah.
Like there are movies that could be called action films that are like about broader subjects that are good.
Sure.
But like a guy doing action, like the Jean-Claude Van Damme, the Jason Statham, like
John
those,
Wick.
Those are the movies that are just like super like droning.
Yeah,
and interesting.
so-
Honestly, I feel
So
like the only people who
actually-
can pull off like action movies that are kind of just action is like Jackie Chan and
Right.
martial arts.
I've actually got
movies.
an instance. So I actually left it. I didn't intentionally leave it off of my bin watching list, but I have watched it since the last time that we did this podcast. And I guess it just wasn't notable enough for me to remember. But I watched The Gray Man, which was
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling and the dude that played like Captain America.
Yeah, Chris
is like
Evans.
a creepy
Sure.
porn stash bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the type of movie that like I'm just not into.
I literally only watched that because I do really like Ryan Gosling, and,
Yeah.
and, like,
Yeah,
he's
no,
not really.
I do too, but it was
doesn't
just
make
like
it
the
worth
most
it.
like actiony action movie
It's-
ever.
So,
I mean, I watched it when it came out like a year ago. I
Yeah.
can't really remember anything about it.
No, it's just super typical. But on like on the other spectrum of that, of like kind of adding comedy to those elements, like Ryan Gosling and fucking
I'm like, what?
guy that played the Gladiator, Russell Crowe.
Russell
Yeah,
Crowe.
yeah.
Oh,
Good,
The
good,
Good
guys.
Guys?
Yeah.
Good guys,
Great
like
movie.
fucking
Yeah, no,
fantastic.
that's a very good
You
movie.
know,
Yeah,
like
so-
it's a comedy. There was a lot of action.
The Nice Guys.
Yeah,
Nice
nice
Guys,
guys.
yes.
Yeah.
That was very fun.
great
yeah.
movie.
So a little bit of some things. I think horror comedy, like zombies movies. I think zombie movies just like kind of need to be funny.
yeah.
No,
Right.
yeah.
There's been like 3 pulled off that
Mhm.
it worked when they're not funny and they're really good films. But like in general, like you can only do that like exactly X amount of times. And after that, you need to be funny. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Next week, just to get since we're not going to have an episode next week, it looks like kind of hate to be too judgy, but it looks like 3 duds coming out in theaters next week. We have The Strangers Chapter 1,
oh fuck off!
which is a prequel to
Fuck
The
off.
Strangers. 'cause
Fuck off!
we're in
Like,
chapter
fuck
one.
off!
Okay.
I guess the original Strangers was Chapter 2, I guess.
This is the
okay.
fucking slasher flick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck this franchise. I've said it since the first movie came out. This is fucking garbage. Don't
is
watch
this
this
only the
bullshit.
second movie, or
I fucking hate
It's
it.
actually
like
the third, but it is a
there was
prequel.
one sequel and now the
Yeah,
It-
it's garbage.
It was
stupid.
called like The Strangers
It's stupid.
Haunted Night. or
It's stupid.
The
It's
first
just
Strangers movie is really dumb.
Did
Like
one-
it's not
did one
interesting
have
at all.
Ethan Hawke in it? Or,
No, that was
Hmm.
or there was a movie like that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that was the first Purge.
Yes,
Oh,
which
okay.
is a lot. That's a lot different than this.
Yeah.
I mean, Purge is.
The Purge
Okay.
gets pretty interesting later on. The first movie's pretty boring.
There's a very interesting underlying concept to the Purge.
Yeah.
And there's interesting stuff in that universe, but the films are what they are.
Yeah.
But no,
The best Purge was
you know,
the
the
Rick and
Strangers.
Morty
It's just
episode.
literally like people show up and kill some people,
Yeah.
and then people just do stupid
like-
shit, and like it's just stupid. It's just like it's just there's nothing there. Like there's nothing.
The hook is
happening.
literally that they don't have any reason to kill the people besides they just want to kill people.
No
That-
killer
that's
ever
literally all the movie.
dies.
But like, I don't know who's wanting a prequel to this.
No, I don't know.
Um,
Fucking this shit's so lazy.
Then
The
there's
director, he hasn't worked since.
the Amy Winehouse biopic, which just looks bad, and then
Yeah.
the new Ryan Reynolds movie, which is directed by John Krasinski, If, which is about imaginary friends.
I've heard people say that it was good.
Oh, it's not out yet.
Not out yet.
See, that's
Okay,
the
okay,
thing
okay.
where it's another one of those weird coincidences. Last month, a horror movie about imaginary friends came out called Imaginary.
Okay.
This
Oh,
is a
okay.
comedy about imaginary
Right.
friends
All
called
right.
If.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking
No, no.
Hollywood.
You know what? I
all they do
honestly
is steal
like.
shit.
If I hear decent things, I'll probably watch it.
I enjoy
'cause-
Ryan Reynolds enough.
Yeah.
I'll probably go watch it.
And I mean, John Krasinski's,
Yeah.
his
Well,
other
that was-
other
we
movies
got the,
he directed were The Quiet Place, and those are good. So.
When we went to see The Fall Guy, we got a trailer for the was it Wolverine and Deadpool?
Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah. I think, in my opinion,
more of a
Ryan
teaser than a
Reynolds
trailer, really.
suffers a bit from oversaturation. Like, he's good at
Yes.
it. He's like maybe one movie a year, one movie every
Yeah.
other year.
Oh,
That's
so-
not enough.
I feel like I'm just waiting for Ryan Reynolds to just like start picking and like grow up a little
Be
bit.
choosy.
Yeah, and like I'm not gonna do a stupid movie.
He's
He
Because, like,
feels like he
he's-
says yes to.
I think
most
he
things,
is
yeah.
better than just like cheese, right? I really do. I think
Yeah.
he is, and I think he picks a lot of bullshit. And I think he's still just like writing his
Yeah.
charming
I think
career.
people
And I just want him to like
Ryan
be done with
Gosling and
that.
Ryan Reynolds confused sometimes, just because they're like good-looking guys.
Yeah.
who are popular.
They are
both
kind of
came-
similar in structure, really.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
think Ryan
like-
Gosling is significantly more handsome and talented
Oh, okay.
than Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
he's done a lot better,
That's
like
that's a
more
hot take.
more
I mean,
drama.
It might not be
You
wrong.
know, he's
like,
he's done a shit ton more drama.
2049.
he's
But
more
that's what I'm-
accomplished for sure.
But that's what I'm
Yeah,
as an
saying. Like,
actor.
I think that Ryan Reynolds is as good.
Ryan Reynolds
if he-
fucks around.
He needs to start leaning that way.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling puts
But
himself
he's-
out there on some
yeah.
riskier roles. And
Yeah,
shit.
he does indie shit.
I mean, he just, but like you just referenced an action movie that was just like total jerk off shit that he did. So like,
The new one,
Yeah,
Fall
yeah.
Guy. Yeah.
so like that's the thing. Like everybody, like
Yeah.
there's picks, there's
Yeah, but the
Things that-
the thing I appreciate about his filmography though is I'll never forget.
oh, it's better than Ryan Reynolds.
I saw an
Clearly,
interview with
like-
Matt Damon one time, and he was doing some action movie, and it's like, yeah, why'd you decide to do an action movie? It's like not really. He's just like, I'm a material whore. I want to do one of everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean,
Matt Damon?
yeah, Matt
No,
Damon. He's like,
mostly action.
he's like, I'm a material.
yeah,
whore.
it's
I wanna-
that
I wanna do one of
fucking
everything.
bar tilted way. a
Yeah,
while ago,
yeah.
you know?
Once he was in the Bourne movies, everyone was like,
But you
okay,
know
this
what?
now.
Honestly, that's the
It
thing,
was an
though,
old
man.
interview.
Like you're getting paid to shoot guns and blow shit up. And,
Oh,
like,
God, I'm sure it's so
as an
fucking
actor,
fun.
like, and when you like, if you're a good actor,
Yeah.
it's like you could just, well, if you're fit enough, you can just do these things
Yeah.
if you want to. Like,
Wait, you're saying I can get
Yeah.
paid to get in shape and then go
And
to a
then-
theme park for my job?
yes, exactly. Like, I mean, there's more to it than that. Like, there's
Yeah.
all kinds of stresses, but still, like, yeah, I get it. Like, fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
For
Go
sure.
blow shit up and jump through buildings and like do crazy shit. Like, it would be fucking fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you were accomplished. Because at a certain point, you're like, all right, you got other
All
stuff
right.
to do.
I think we've reached the point, John Brown.
The
What's the
picks.
follow?
All right, so
What's the follow?
I'm torn, man. I got notes here. I was decided today. I was decided the other day, and then when I tattooed on Aaron, I thought differently. And then I've been looking at at run times of the movies that I have in mind. I've waffled here or there, but I think I've got it dialed down to two things. One is definitely completely different than the stuff we've done so far, on one angle at least. The other is similar, but also really, in essence, very different on a scale to the things that we've done. So, fuck, I don't know, man. It's hard.
Do these work together as a double feature?
There is it's between a double feature
or
and
one
a film.
A longer
Yes.
one.
Okay.
I had ideas for different double features, but some of those films were slightly too long for a double feature.
Yeah.
So I have a great, perfectly timed double feature and one that's just over 2 hours. That's genre we haven't touched yet.
The standalone movie?
The standalone is.
We could also fit it like an 80-minute movie, a 90-minute movie in with that. As long as we said keep it under 4 hours for a double feature.
Yeah, man, it's your call. Sure call.
Do we? I mean, so
The double feature you said is a good follow to this?
well, I don't know. I'm thinking of. They're very different from this.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
very different from this. I felt like being different because
That's probably
like
the
a
best
very-
bet. Not
like
try
a
to
very-
follow it.
Yeah, I don't want to follow this thing because
I
that
say
is-
pick with your heart. That's
it's
what
a
I say.
dangerous road to go down. We've done that already a few times.
It gets a little monotonous when you follow something.
Well,
that-
and
Yeah.
it spirals into like started with kind of a British gangster movie. Then I've
Then
finished
there's another
with,
British gangster. Then
Well, I
another.
finished with like the most awfully depressing gangster movie ever. Like there was like progress and scale to the process, but it didn't really like go anywhere good.
Yeah, that's fair. It was fun.
But yeah,
though.
so both of these things are very different.
Okay.
One is completely different
Can't lose
than
them.
what we've done. The other is very different in the intensity of what it is to the things that are similar to it that we've done.
Let's do the completely different thing.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh, okay. I love this movie.
Yeah,
Dude. Yeah, I love
I haven't seen it since it came out.
we haven't done
Yeah.
a Western at
We
all.
haven't done a Coen Brothers.
Yeah,
movie
we haven't
yet.
done
We
Coen.
haven't done Coen Brothers. We've done maybe one or two other anthology movies, but
Heavy
Yeah.
metal.
yeah. But so yeah, we had metal anthology. Now we have Western anthology.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I think
How long is the Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
it's like 212, something like that.
I bet
Is
I
there
bet
a
I could
shorter Coen
yeah,
Brothers
I could
movie?
find a short, even like a short film.
I mean,
Coen Brothers.
we don't
I'm
have to
down.
make it a major focus of the feature.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll make it.
Yeah.
Your pick is the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, but I mean, just because on Wednesday night we have more.
Tom Waits movie. Let's find a Tom Waits movie.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Tom Waits is in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. He's the gold miner.
Okay,
whatever.
so
I can
Tom-
find some
Tom Waits
options, or you
double
can
feature?
look into it.
Oh, dude, how about The Dead Don't Die?
Oh fucking Christ! Yeah, that's
It might be
pretty
too
good.
long,
That
though,
is
for
too
one.
long. But
Yeah.
that'd be good. That's a movie that we need to watch though.
Surprisingly, if you can believe it, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs is streaming on Netflix
Yeah,
because it is a Netflix produced
It is.
movie.
it's one of my favorites of Netflix. It's
I
one of
mean,
the reasons why I like Netflix.
there is a ton of Tom Waits options, so we can
Oh, I
we can
know.
talk about that.
All right.
No, we're gonna
So,
have a surprise Tom Waits.
Yeah,
movie to talk
surprise
about.
Tom Waits double feature.
So that's gonna put a wrap on it. Episode 28 will be 2 weeks from tonight, more than likely, and will feature the
2
Ballad of
weeks from-
Buster Scruggs and something probably related to
Yes.
either actor, director, or subject matter to
Yeah.
the Ballad of Buster
Yes.
Scruggs.
And hopefully, the next episode is actually 2 weeks from yesterday, not tonight.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, that's true.
The double feature, man. It was one for the ages. It's gonna happen. Now I know.
Tom Waits double feature.
No, it's
Oh, the other option.
the other pick. It's gonna happen one day.
All right,
Awesome.
I've got a couple of those too.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Cool.
Peace out.
Bye.